ESL 1 Katowice is brought to you in part by Intel, Mercedes-Benz, Vodafone, Alienware, PaySafeCard, Logitech G, and Hacks.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ESL 1 Katowice 2018, the 10th ever ESL 1 for Dota 2. It's history in the making. We've already had 4 days of incredible Dota 2 action with some really memorable moments. But the best is saved for last, because ladies and gentlemen, we are finally inside the Spodek Arena with the best damn esports fans in the world. And we're hoping to bring them some fabulous action as well. Alongside me are 3 men that are going to bring you all the action as well from the desk as we preview the day and look forward to the first matches. We've got Nahaz, Purge, and Fogged. How you doing?
Pretty good.
How hyped are you guys to be here finally doing Dota 2 in Spodek?
Feels good. It's a little different than a back room. Yeah.
It's a little more.
Just a little. Let's look at the up at top there. Everything's just filled up.
It's
Unbelievable.
great.
It's nice and early. Everybody's here for some Dota.
This is the one venue to me where I watched games like Counter-Strike that at the time I never followed, and the energy of the arena comes right through you on stream. I am so hyped to be here.
Yeah, can't wait to kick it all off. Before we kick it all off, why don't we just talk a little bit about day number 4, gents, because we had a couple of fantastic matches yesterday, Fogg. We'll start with the EG game. In a way, you kind of reflect one day later and you go, how on earth did they do that? That's a 37-minute series.
I hope we don't have a repeat of that today. Let's just be honest here.
You're an EG boy, though. I thought you'd have liked that.
I did, but I think we need to get a comeback, right? VP, they've been struggling so much against EG in the past 2 years. They've got to get a good match coming out. They've got to get some long games.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, they were really quick yesterday, Kevin.
Yeah, it was.
Why were they so quick?
Maybe EG is just better than we expected them to be. Maybe they finally found their groove. They had a strategy that was interesting and different, and they played really well. So I think it was maybe not the best for watching, but it was a really good proof of concept to show this is serious. This is 2 games in a row.
Yeah, definitely put their credentials on. You and I have been talking about this all week.
We have.
Do they show up here and finally show us the power of evil geniuses, or do they just wilt away again? They're showing the power.
Well, Paul, we talked all week about EG in terms of we've been talking about potential too much in the last couple months with this team, and it's time to talk about performance. Well, in the last 2 series, we've added a third P to that mix, and that's preparation. This EG team against Kingwin and Newbie has looked like the most prepared team in the tournament, completely ready for what both of those teams are going to do in the draft. VP is going to have to show something different today, or they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, let's just reflect back on day number 4. We'll show you some footage of day number 4, and that AG performance yesterday blew us away. Do you feel like, Fogg, that maybe, I don't want to take anything away from EG, but do you feel like Newbie didn't really turn up to that series?
I did see a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes, especially like SCCC. You don't really see him do those kind of plays where he dies by himself. Early on in the game, he's super stable player. So for me, yeah, it did seem a little bit under preparation by Newbie, but
you can't take that
away. You can't take that away. Bob,
No.
you could even see the EG guys during the draft. Bob was just grinning. He's laughing the whole time. Him and Misery just poking each other. They had an entire idea going versus Newbie that time.
Yeah, they definitely did. And then the other series, did it live up to your expectations, Kevin? The Liquid Secret game? Because it was we built it up as this could be a potential final. Definitely could have been. We probably expected to go all 3, but it kind of did, but it didn't get there the way we thought it would go.
Yeah, it was a lot of different heroes in almost every series there. So it was a little surprising that they picked all that, and it was kind of like the EG series felt like them reaching out of their comfort zone a little bit, doing something different, and the Liquid Secret series kind of felt similar, but maybe a little bit less polished. It was more like, okay, what we tried maybe isn't working. We're trying to find the meta after we banned the best heroes, and it was kind of hit or miss. So maybe that's why it didn't quite feel normal.
And Alan, you brought out the stats yesterday. Kuro versus Puppy, 26-24 at the time, now 27-26. He's 1 game behind, but he won't care about that, the fact that they've actually managed to win that game and push on to the semis.
Yeah, I think Kuro is just fine with that record. By the way, I got asked a question last night on Twitter, what is the most played captain rivalry all time? And it's actually Fenrir and Faith. who we'll see, Fenrir
Wow.
we'll see in
Yep.
action today. It's tied 66-66.
Wow.
I thought that was a cool bit of trivia.
That's very fun, yeah. You saved that one. That's one of those ones that when you're in a pub quiz 20 years from now, someone says, who are the two captains that are tied 60? And you're like, I've got it! And you look like a genius. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the way that they won that match, though, did it confirm to you that they are the better team, or is there still that question mark about, is it Secret, is it Liquid?
I think a lot of people are going to answer yes to that question. I'm going to say no, just because I tend to take a little bit of a longer view. I thought the drafts in that series were just amazing. It was 10D chess all the way. I thought in the last game, Puppey just may have overreached a little bit. We had 2 player hero combinations, the Ace Visage and the mid 1 Vengeful Spirit. That was the debut for both players professionally on those heroes, and that's a really big ask in a deciding game among the best 2 teams in the world.
A lot of these teams, they tend to say as well, it's a team that really shows up that day. Secret, they had a long fought battle in the second game. They had a very good prepared idea with heroes that we're not used to seeing by all. The Lich, Lina, things like that.
But they first pick in the tournament.
But they understood what they wanted to do with the heroes. They stalled the game out, all that, and I think that's what it comes down to, is just this preparation, and it just comes down to, did we show up today? Did we not? Liquid showed up a little bit more. Because both these two teams are so even. And yeah, there was a fifth pick, unfortunately.
Kevin, the mind games were interesting to watch yesterday. What did you get out of that during the draft? Because it was a bit like, do we do something different because they know what we're going to do, but do they then expect us to do something different because they... It was really weird, wasn't it? Very difficult for both captains.
I feel like there's 3 teams that could have been in that situation. It's those 2 teams and probably EG, I would say. But I feel like Puppey has always been the guy to kind of throw caution to the wind and do the drafts that feel good to him. Like, he's very often picking heroes that other players stop picking, like Dazzles, Huskars, things like that historically. So that was definitely the matchup where it was going to get the most crazy for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to hear from you, of course, via all our usual social media channels. There is channels up right now at the bottom of the screen. Use the hashtag #ESL. And if you're here in the Spot Arena, we'd love you to take some pictures, some selfies. If you've managed to see one of the players or the talents wondering it, take those as well. Put those all on social media. We'd love to see them throughout the day and throughout the weekend as well. Let's take a look at the playoff bracket and show you where we are right now, because we have just 5 teams remaining at ESL 1 Katowice. And the big thing this weekend, if you haven't been following for the last 4 days, don't worry, we're going to bring you right up to speed. 5 teams left, of which only 2 of them have ever won an ESL 1 before. Now that's quite remarkable, because we're at the 10th ESL 1 for Dota 2, and we've never had a repeat winner. Vici Gaming are one of those 2 teams, and Virtus Pro are the other. Virtus Pro will see in action versus Evil Geniuses first, and then we'll have Vici Gaming versus Team Liquid, and we'll have the other semi-final at the end of the day with, I think we can only describe them as the surprise of the tournament, Alan. Fnatic.
I think so. I think Fnatic and Vici Gaming were 2 teams that looked like they were on the rise, dating all the way back to Genting. Of the 2, I think Vici is the less of a surprise. That's an all-star roster, very well thought of around the Chinese teams. But the one storyline we've been pushing all week that I want to bring back, only 2 of those final 5 were our big 4.
Yes, I mean, it's quite a surprise, Kevin. When we looked at Genting, we were like, yep, that team goes through, that team goes through, that team goes through, that team, and we were right. And it was very easy, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
It's been much harder here.
That was the biggest surprise when you said that only 2 were left. I was like, I remember at the start when you said 4, and we were like, yeah, I could see all 4 of those teams getting top 6. Now some of them are missing. It's a big surprise. But Fnatic is a team that's been very impressive, and it just makes me think of Secret, who barely lost to them, then have to play Liquid, then lose to Liquid, now is out.
And I think Fnatic's a bit of that wild card too, is because they're that unexpected team. People, they might not even had them on their radar at all for this one, and they're using strategies and heroes that nobody else really has. I mean, they picked Ember. Who's picking Ember in 2018, guys?
That's a good question. Take a look at the schedule for you, because as I said, we have 3 matches today. We have the second quarterfinal, the last quarterfinal to go up, which has EG versus VP. Very interesting matchup, that one. In the middle, sandwiching that one, is the revenge match for Team Liquid. They're going to be taking on Vici Gaming in a revenge match from earlier on. They've already won 1 revenge match. Can they make it 2 in a row? And then finally, at the end of the day, Fnatic will be in action here in the Spodek Arena against the winner of EG versus Virtus Pro. So 3 fantastic matches. I mean, I can't wait.
Unbelievable.
I don't know who I'm looking forward
Great day
to.
at Dota.
I don't know who I'm looking forward to most now, to be honest.
It's difficult, isn't it?
Because like, you look at Vici Liquid and you're like, okay, these 2 teams have proven themselves to be absolutely dominant in this tournament. But then it's EG VP. We've got a classic. We've got this, like, it's pretty much become an El Clasico in a way.
That's the best part of the end of the tournaments. Every single game that happens is going to be amazing, no matter what happens. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Are we going to get anything that comes close to the end of the Secret Fnatic game 2 days ago?
That'd be hard. That was definitely.
pretty special,
That's got to be like a top 15 moment in Dota ever, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe higher.
Yeah. Yeah, very special moment indeed. And I have to tell you, Fnatic have a lot of links with this place, a lot of history in other games. I wonder whether they're going to come back and do the same thing. Likewise, so do one of our opponents today, Virtus Pro. Also have a very big history inside this arena. We're going to move on and talk to you about our first match of the day. We're going to start things off with Evil Geniuses. We'll show you some of the action over the last 4 days. If you just joined us, it is a 6-day tournament here as part of the major, a $1 million major as well, and plenty of points up for grabs. Where do you rate them? Just on ESL 1 Katowice right now, Evil Geniuses.
I think Evil Geniuses have looked like the most prepared team in the tournament over the last 2 series. I think you have to go in against EG with some variation on the drafts that you've been running, or they're going to figure out how to beat you. Period.
I think Nahaz said it yesterday too. It's all about having that person. You can't be this predictable draft versus EG, because Bulba, he probably stayed up all night. He was watching all your drafts. He was watching every single strategy you did in the games. So you definitely have to come out with a little bit of oomph, just something to change it up.
And I think they can do that as well. I think the way the VP's been playing has been a little bit straightforward, so I think that kind of planning, let them have what they want. They've been picking semi-standard heroes. I think Bulba can figure it out.
Key player for you, Fold, inside this team. Is it Sumail? Is it Arteezy? Is it Fit? Who is it for you?
I think most people would say it's Arteezy, but I'm actually going to go with Crit. I think his performance in the last series that he played was absolutely phenomenal. He pretty much did everything for me in the games. He was not only securing all the lanes, but it was just like all of his movements. He was reading the map perfectly. Had to be Crit for me.
It's hard sometimes, isn't it, with that role that he plays? Because you kind of have to look away from where the action is sometimes to see what he's doing on the peripheral of that.
But I'm a support player, so I'm always noticing the support
right,
guys.
We're together here.
Come on.
It's all good. We've got each
always
other.
noticing the support guys.
Don't we all play support? I'm pretty sure this is.
That's the way it goes on
support
panel.
so,
You start off thinking you could be the greatest mid in the world, and then slowly you go down there.
And the other issue for MVP stuff on EG is that, like, if they stomp games that hard, everybody looks amazing. If you win 3 lanes, everybody looks amazing.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Do you expect them to use the same kind of style they did yesterday? Because that almost plays into Virtus Pro in the way that they want to run at you and play fast as well, doesn't it?
I would say slightly in the fact that they do love heroes like Bounty Hunter, but it's more like their pressure is overwhelming the first 10 minutes is what it felt like. And it felt like dual lanes, it wasn't like 2 heroes roaming, ganking everywhere. It's like their lanes were all so good and all their individual players make so few mistakes that they just win trades and get kills, and all of a sudden your opponents have no kills, and then you just snowball the rest of the game.
Yeah, that definitely happened in those 2 games.
Yeah, I liked how he says like it's the few mistakes. That's the big thing for me is for EG, at least from what we saw in the last couple series, is they look and they claim this advantage, and it's not like they're like, all right, we can take this game later. Let's play comfortable. No, they're like, we can end this game, and we're gonna end it. Done. 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and they pressure it to the maximum extent of their draft.
Cap used a word yesterday I thought that was very good to describe some of the mistakes we saw yesterday, which was sloppy. And if Virtus Pro are sloppy today, they're going to get punished, surely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about Virtus Pro. Alan?
They got a hill to climb.
Yes.
Which
is unusual for them in this stage of the tournament. You normally come in here and you think, yeah, they look really good, they're strong, they're one of the top 4 teams in the world, they should win this.
Well, they've looked like a Superman team over the last couple of years, but EG has been their kryptonite. Starting in June 2015, EG and VP have played 12 straight best-of-3 or best-of-5. EG has won every single one of those series with a combined map score of 25-5.
Wow.
That's astonishing, isn't it? I mean, we see these from time to time, Kevin, in Dota, and you always preface it with, well, it's a different lineup, or but that kind of record, that's astonishing.
It is actually. I mean, it's been some of the same players, not all of them. I think I would say, if I was to categorize VP over the years, I would say that they have been pretty consistent with their drafts. I remember this moment where they would always fall a little short at majors, and then OG's heroes would get nerfed. And all of a sudden, Epicenter 2 happened, and I was like, VP's heroes, they run kind of the same stuff, hasn't been nerfed this whole time, so finally they're strong. So that makes me feel like they don't change their strategy that much. They're pretty consistent. They're really good at what they do. They have very high individual skill, but they don't get that crazy with drafts. So I think that may be one reason.
And that said, though, they do go a little bit regional from time to time. They do have a few picks that are CIS related rather than meta.
Of course. I mean, we can just name one. It's the Darkseer. They played it earlier in this tournament, and we were like, Darkseer? What's happening? I think only 2 regions picked that one, but it has been it's been the iteration of Ramses and no one the whole time that they've been playing versus OG, right? Or versus EG.
EG, yeah.
So that does also fit that playstyle. So they're not going to change up so much when these two players, they are so good at their roles. How are you going to just change the entire way that they play when you have these two stars?
Doesn't it strike you, though, that the narrative right now, we're talking about a team in VP that at the summit doesn't pick a hero twice until the grand finals and wins the whole tournament before TI. And now we're talking about the predictability, but that has felt like the issue. Maybe that's the recent roster change, swapping Lil for Roger, who is a little bit less versatile, sort of feeling each other out for a period of time. But Ramses is the key player. He is 1-14 against EG maps in his career. He has not beaten EG since joining VP a single map, and they've picked on him.
I hope he's nowhere near the stage right now. You're kind of like creeping him out a little bit about these stats. I was going to talk to you guys about Roger. How do you feel like he's fitting in? Early days, obviously, but how do you feel he's fitting in initially?
I think he fits in fine. I think it actually looks like a very similar VP. I don't think that they've changed so much of their style. If anything, like Alan was saying, it's like a little bit more stable, if anything, because Lil, he likes to be a little bit more flashy, while I feel like Roger's just more like straightforward player.
Yeah, I would agree. When he was on Empire and Navi, I definitely noticed his incredible skill. It was probably one of the biggest things I took away from TI. And now on VP, he's there and he fits in, and he's probably playing the same. I just don't notice because his teammates are also good as well. So I think he's making it work.
All right, good stuff. Thank you, all three of you. We're headed to a break right now, but Spodek Arena, people tuned in all around the world, do not go too far away, because when we come back, Mr. OJ Borg will be here to officially open ESL 1 Katowice. We'll see you soon.
I want to get in there.
Wow, I'm actually dead.
You dead? Yeah, I'm dead.
Never, dude!
Dude, look at that macro pyre, dude. Oh my god.
Game, record, and stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Life is all about following a few simple rules. Dress proper. Get a real job. Start a family. Be humble. Time to grow up.
Ultimately, this trip could bring my career to the next level.
I'm not very worried about losing. I'm worried about missed opportunities.
I just scream and say yes twice.
Yes! Yes!
You try your best, you feel good about yourself.
So what's really going to separate them is decision making and strategizing.
In 20 Not much of a talker, are you? But we are going to put on the biggest damn show in the world tomorrow. We are going to drown this dark city in awesomeness. We're going to make it shine. Like you.
Shiny. So shiny. Can we be friends?
Sure, we can be friends.
But we are friends. Can I touch it?
Please.
Just a little.
My friend.
It's so shiny.
Shine.
Shiny.
No! That's where I draw the line. No touching.
Oh, over there! Peekaboo!
And?
Oh! Bring me back my trophy, you nitwits!
Follow that car.
No. Why?
Because they've stolen the trophy.
No dodging!
And we need to get it back. Oh, what the hell?
Swift as the wolves of Izrang.
Right, this is a chase.
Why are they driving so slow?
Oh, you want me to go faster?
Yes, I would like you to go faster. Terrible idea. Who are you?
Oh, quick, quick! No! It belongs to us.
We're not victims anymore.
We are victors.
We have grown up.
Yes, we have.
Down with the heroes.
Hail the BD creeps.
To victory!
Your fate was always crystal clear. You will never grow up. This one is all mine.
Thank you.
I think you can handle that car.
I told you, we were going to drown this city in awesomeness.
Man, the things I have done for this trophy. Oh, man, that car chase. I tell you, all I wanted to do was buy this trophy. A nice glass of milk. And you know what? We ended up going all around Katowice, but it was worth it. And I'll tell you why, not just because this trophy symbolizes ESL 1 Katowice, not just because there is $1 million prize pool, but because this trophy shows the first ever Dota 2 major to be held in Poland! Oh, baby, you are hot! Which makes all of that sacrifice worth it. And it is great to be back here in the Spoda, this concrete spaceship in the heart of Katowice. And this is a place that I've said has been the beating heart of esports. And this, the 10th anniversary of ESL 1 Dota 2, a tournament that has never been won by the same team twice. Will that happen here? Will it? Who knows? But Katowice, we have had a great 4 days to get us to this point. We've had heats, we've had some quarterfinals, we have some of our semi-finalists. Are you ready for some Dota 2? Are you ready? Well, let's get it on, because we need 1 quarterfinal before our 2 semi-finalists. And they are 2 great teams. They're about to come on the stage, so please welcome your first quarterfinalist, and that is EG. So if you look into the eyes of EG, they are 5 people that think they are already in that semi-final. They know they've got the tools to get themselves there, but there is a team stood in their way. So please welcome their opponents also wanting that semi-final spot. That is Virtus Pro! So we have 2 teams on stage, our quarterfinalists. Remember, this is the first of 2 days here in this fabulous arena. 2 days of great competition. $1 million prize pool is on the line. That trophy as well, the first ever Dota 2 major to be held in Poland. So let's get it on. And I want to know that feeling is there. Katowice, ESL 1. Are you ready? Yeah, you are. So let's hand it over. Let's get it underway with Paul Red-Eye Challenger. It's all yours, buddy.
Thank you very much, Mr. OJ Borg. Fantastic start to the day. The new chills are in full effect right now inside the Spodek Arena as we bring you our final quarter-final of the day. Then we'll move on to both semi-finals. One of these two teams looking for that spot. It's EG versus Virtus Pro. We're back at the desk once more to bring you the first draft of the day with Nahaz, Purge, and Fault. Alan, we'll start with you. Draft time not too far away. So what are we looking, what are you feeling for EG after what we saw yesterday?
The key to this draft matchup is whether or not VP are going to be able to handle the off-lane pressure of EG. Dual off-lane sets, Paul, are 25 and 14 in the tournament so far, by far the most successful lane configuration. EG's run that in every game. They are 6-1, and in particular, EG's game plan, the common denominator in these wins, is shutting down Ramses. The last game that they played in Genting, they ran that aggressive dual off-lane against the Ramses PL. They held him to 0 kills on his Phantom Lancer. The first time that's happened for him in 100 pro matches since TI. In the game before that, they ran a Tinker Pudge Rubik aggro tri-lane against his Chaos Knight. Arteezy died 3 times in the first 8 minutes on his Tinker, but they wouldn't let Ramses CK out of the shadow of his safe lane tower.
Oh,
I think they heard that one. I think Artur may have heard you, Alan. You may have to pay some sort of compliment to him. Like, for instance, his Terrorblade yesterday was incredible.
I think I'm in trouble.
I think you might be in trouble. Folk, talk to me about this history stuff, right? As a player, when you're playing a team that you've lost to a lot, even though you've played them with different lines, does it get in your head? Does it make any difference?
I want to say no.
But you've thought about it, haven't you?
But I do think a little bit. I do think a tiny little bit. The VP guys, they even joke about it a bit. Like, at the end of every single series, they're like, well, it happened again. So it definitely is going to come into a little bit of play. Okay. I think they're going to come in very prepared for this one, though. Solo, I do think, like Nahaz was saying too, is these dual aggros, they have to be prepared for this. They have to be able to switch. They have to be able to just make that that switch up, that fix during the draft, during the games, just be able to deal with EG so they don't fall into that trap.
Okay, Kevin, what do you want to see from Virtus Pro?
I guess I'm just curious how they're going to react to that dual offlane. The conventional wisdom is if they have 2 heroes in the offlane, you just put 3 against them and it guarantees you a win. But to do so, you need to ensure that your other 1v1 matchups are safe, because by doing that, your offlane is going to be against 2 heroes. Your mid is in a straight up 1v1. It's more obvious when your supports leave. So if it's that kind of a situation, the draft is super important. If you can get a hero like Razor at the start, it would be a big advantage, because then you guarantee one of those 1v1s is fine for you.
All right, Here we go. Draft number 1, game number 1 of the quarterfinal inside the Spodek Arena.
I was wondering how many dodges end up happening, right? It's like, all right, sure, they try to shut down Ramses. Well, we're not going to put him safe lane. We're going to put him mid. We're going to put him off lane. So that's where I'm looking for the adjustments to come out and what VP is going to respond with. So already, EG's taking out the responses to early pressure, the Enchantress and the Chen, these 2 heroes.
That's not a hero that's VP's run a lot recently, but Liquid showed that last night against Secret, and it looked absolutely fearsome, the mind control offlane Enchantress.
I think both have played it, Vici as well as Liquid, mostly as an offlane hero actually, just because you sit there and you attack the carry and it kind of gives them a bad time. It's gone now, won't be played support either. Chen's gone, Witch Doctor, it's all early game stuff.
Wow. Yeah, it's all about that early game.
Like, Witch Doctor is so good at being able to zone and deal with offlaners with just Maledict alone or Maledict plus Cask. It's really dangerous to certain heroes. So I think this is the first tell that EG is planning to definitely still stick with the offlane contest.
Yeah, and with the Witch Doctor, it's played a big role as the game has gone on as well. When you talk about Razor is already gone, when we talk about the emphasis that we've seen on these tanky cores throughout the tournament, that Maledict all of a sudden onto one of them makes them actually feel vulnerable in the fight.
And we were talking about the other day how we might expect to see an IO. I think this could be this series when it comes out. This Witch Doctor ban is a little bit of a tell maybe for me that they could go for like that Beastmaster IO that they love so much.
Yeah, the crit IO is just fantastic. They are 17-3 since January 1st with crit on IO or Rubik.
Are you surprised to see the Razor? First ban, we spoke about it a lot yesterday as one of those. It's first phase pick, it's become pretty staple throughout this tournament.
It's pretty much The last 10 or 12 drafts that we've seen here, pretty much the team with second pick bans Razor because it's go in the offlane now.
Yeah.
Although they haven't played in that way.
Nope.
He's a pretty good pick here as well. The two heroes that he's up against right now are heavily magic damage, and if he just gets the 20% magic resistance perk at 10, he's already going to have a big advantage against them.
Oh yeah, it is. So I hadn't keyed in on that, Paul. That's important.
Yeah.
That the two times that EG has run Tiny this year, it's both been fear.
It's been and RTZ has actually got one in the last 3 months.
Oh, okay.
But when it was a little bit different of a hero, right?
Yeah,
When it
yeah. That was. I think that was at the tail end of last year.
It was.
So Gyro is a bit susceptible to that burst, but they do want to have. They've just really been liking this hero for VP. They've been picking a majority of the games.
Yeah, you saw them run that at least once against in the series versus Vici, right?
Yeah, and this was the 2v5 combo that we saw at Genting.
Oh my God!
The Gyro tanking.
The Rampage. Ramsey's bro. Pasha have the Rampage on the Sand King. That was awesome.
They still take out the Beast. I think that's an excellent ban.
Banning all of Sumail's aggressive heroes with Puck and the Beast.
Yep.
Yeah, banning heroes that can set up for relocates that can pressure on the side lanes.
Which means they don't believe that Tiny's an offlane either.
Yeah, I would agree, and it's just even if he ends up being the offlane, just how adept Sumail has shown himself at execution in the dual lane combos with this. That Puck Elder Titan lane that they ran as a dual safe lane was just, it was crazy. I mean, you can't contest the stacks, and all of a sudden ET is hitting you for 60 damage or 100 damage.
Yeah. So it could be that they expect Tiny to be on off, or they don't expect him to be offlane, or they're trying to force them to make that be the offlane. That could be the other thought.
So the AA Disruptor bans, they're really trying to make sure this IO has a heavy impact. I mean, if they're going to pick it so early on, it is one of those heroes that can take over a game. So AA and Disruptor.
It's going to
very
be the sandwich now.
Yeah.
Where the Virtus Pro going?
Well, they need really good lanes just because of the IO. Giving them the potential to heal and save and win a lot of early trades is exactly what they did in the set yesterday.
Yeah. I think having good ways to match the roam too. We talked about it a little bit the other day is playing versus IO, you have to have roam control. You can't let this hero just run around, get every single bounty, get every single rune, and just keep filling up the bottle and sustaining the lanes.
So I would say that Omni would be on the table here for Virtus Pro, but they have run the Sand King largely in the offlane position. If they're willing to shift that, okay, I think that's a good enabler for the Gyrocopter.
Instant
there's the bit around me.
Yep.
They felt that one was coming.
That was so fast that they had
I mean, the first phase was as well, Kevin. I love it when it's like that because it's almost like they've gone through a playbook of, well, if we do this, they'll do that, then we'll do this, and they'll do that, and that's exactly what's playing out right now.
But Dota.
I think they also, even if they didn't just expect the Omni, there's already Sand King, right? So he's already got a great tool.
So it's a good response. Their trialing is going to be low on damage, is maybe one of the downsides, but they can definitely chase and right-click a lot, especially if they have a potential like 3v2 matchup. But straight 3v3 might not go great for EG right now in a tri-lane.
So this is more than likely going to be a Roger Sand King, meaning we're probably looking at the 5-position support pickup here for VP.
Bane's still in the pool?
Yeah, it's probably the best alternative. Bane's one of the top 3 ELO adjusted win rates in the tournament. 10-3 so far.
I guess I feel like he's not very good against IO for some reason. You can relocate who gets Fiend's Gripped. He is good at trading, but IO's better at trading and it makes everybody faster.
They could double down on team fight here and go for something like that Warlock for solo.
That's a hero they've liked a lot. There's the Bane. So the critical aspect right now, even though I agree with Bane not necessarily being the best against IO Tiny, they need a BKB breaker in their first 4. They don't want to. You don't want to get trapped into picking something like a Void 5th pick because you have no way to deal with BKB.
Rubik is very good versus that though. So Rubik is actually good versus the 3 ladder picks that VP had chosen up.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, that's scary. Just EG can go so many different directions here.
And I feel like it was all opened up by the fact that they first pick. Their opponents have to ban Razor, and then they just ban a bunch of heroes that are tier 1.5. VP has to collect the other tier 1 bans and they get to open the way they want.
Alan, if you can look this up, how's IO Tiny been doing? I feel like I've been seeing that one. When it is let through, it does fairly well, but I do think it's the majority Liquid that has played it.
Yes, I shall look that up for you right now.
Yeah, I think it's the only team that teams regularly ban IO first phase. It's pretty much just Liquid.
Rubik is now the most picked, by the way, in ESL in Katowice.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Tied with Gyro.
Yeah.
All right, no.
Ahead of Gyro now.
Ahead of Gyro.
Ahead of Gyro now, yeah. And then Disruptor, DK, Razor, and those ridiculous win rates of DK and Razor still above 73%.
Well, we are waiting on a DK here. Tiny can hit towers, but DK might not be bad either. BKB hit frontline.
Yeah, and I feel like you kind of got to take some nails here, and DK at least is a flex. The other thing, I think Batrider's at least decent here as well. Just get in on the gyrocopter because so far it's a single core lineup from VP.
They do tend to leave some hours until last.
You do have to okay, but let's at least say it. Okay, you do as EG at least have to think about the brood as well. The Ramses brood mother.
It's true. They could put Tiny against it, I feel like though.
Well, this is going to be an Arteezy Medusa, and Arteezy Medusa is sick.
It's a really good pick here.
5-0 on the hero.
Because if you're up against an Omni Knight and there's a gyro, like normally you fear the repel coming out a little bit earlier, but as long as you pop Stone Gaze, he actually has to disengage. So no matter what happens, especially like Fiend's Grip as well, it can be a pain in the butt to actually rely on if you have to worry about Stone Gaze.
So to answer your question, by the way, Fogged, Tiny and IO only 7-6 in 2018, and only I think 1-1 in this patch. It's just not being picked up.
Just not being picked up. Yep. Okay.
So final bans.
Does feel like on VP they lack some damage to go through that Deuce at the moment, especially if there's an IO backing him up.
Would OD be the obvious pick for VP?
Ooh.
They do like their OD gyro. We saw that one in the series yesterday that they did played.
I think the answer to your question is yes, but I don't think that one's in the draft.
Can I just throw something wild in here?
You may.
You may.
Samael has played the Medusa.
Since move to the offlane?
Huh. I mean, they could put on a safe lane against like Omni or something.
Completely.
I don't think it will happen here, but it's just one of those wild things they could.
Do you think VP can still go for something like the Terrorblade and they just run the gyrocopter in the mid lane?
The answer to that is definitely yes.
He'd have to be worried about getting solo killed, I guess, by Tiny IO, but ban Brood, and now they got their pick here.
Again, you got to take away the Brood, and I think that the Terrorblade is the obvious pick for VP. I agree.
You are susceptible to build a bit of burst, though.
Yeah.
Tiny Rubik, offensive no field.
So EG has a little bit of lockdown problems right now. They basically just have Rubik left and Tiny spells, so maybe a little bit more team fight would be good, or gank.
So if it is off lane, does the Tide work here?
Tide works. Enigma or Bat?
Yeah.
Enigma is, I think, the big one that stands up versus Omni Knight.
Yeah.
That would be lovely here, wouldn't it?
And the Ursa. So there, again, your laning matchup against the Omni Knight is the absolute key. They are going to try to put as much pressure on that lane, the side lane matchups as possible.
So where does Samael go then?
He'll probably play Tiny.
So it's a pressure tri lane. They leave Ursa in a 1v1 versus Omni. They're going to try to get that matchup.
And then Deuce will be safe mid no matter what happens.
And then Deuce will be, you keep the attention off of the Deuce.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just been the EG recipe throughout the tournament.
It's given Virtus.pro a little bit to think about because they're obviously thinking, okay, so who plays what where?
Kind of seemed to me like Ramsey's face was like, I wanted to pick that.
And there's the Terrorblade. You just have to go with it because right now you have very little tower hitters through your first 4 picks. You're almost locked into picking the Terrorblade at that point.
An intriguing first draft, gents. It's time to put reputations on the line, as ever, with the predictions. Alan.
I think once again, EG came into this draft super prepared. They knew what VP was going to do. They've got a winning formula. EG in game 1.
I think I'm gonna have to go with that as well. The lane matchups look too good for them, but I do love VP's draft. I think it looks great on paper.
Okay.
Oh God. It's the curse.
I almost said VP. I was really
It's the
close.
curse. I'm pretty
Are we
close as
doing
well.
this again? Is this what's happening?
I think, I mean, I completely agree. I think it's the lane matchup thing for me, and I think they lack damage for Dusa. Going EG.
All right, okay. Clean sweep on the desk as far as they're concerned here. Lots of benefit for EG, but it's down to the players. It's also down to our commentary team. Spodek Arena, please welcome a very classic commentary team of Toby, One, and Cap. How the devil are you, boys?
We're doing fantastic.
Can you wait for this? Is this cool?
Yeah, wait, we can make it cool, right? Like, we're just waving. That's cool, right?
That's good. I like it.
Yeah.
We were standing outside, and it's just amazing that the arena is like pretty much already full to the rafters.
Yeah. Gotta give big props to everyone who braved the snow, who braved the negative 10 degrees. They come out here. It's just like, you know what? We don't care. We're here for some fantastic Dota.
I was looking outside at 6:30 in the morning, and I saw the line for the tickets. It was incredible. I was like, dude, it's below freezing out right now. They're just all standing in line. That's amazing. That's some passion right there.
Well, let's warm ourselves up with some fantastic Dota. Evil Geniuses versus Virtus Pro. Game number 1 of this best of 3 quarterfinal. The winner will play the last series today against Fnatic in the semis. And it looks like EG is already on the hunt, and so is VP. Everyone hold hands and take up the bad addiction that is smoking.
Both teams, ooh, this could get real messy because VP are going to take that dire high ground.
The smoke broke. They saw him for half a second. They're going to turn around right now. EG, they're in the perfect positioning. But then again, the dire observer ward. Wait for it, VP. They're not going to walk into EG. How does EG react? By having a complete anticlimactic situation and walk away.
Oh man, I thought we were going to see 2 or 3 kills just to start the game, but apparently not. Both teams gonna back away. We did start this whole entire series with a very clear opening in the draft. VP gave them the tiny whiz. Both teams knew they were gonna be taking it up. We talked about like the support bans that were coming out, say the Witch Doctor, for example. Very important ban for EG to get a successful tiny whiz combination here in the opener. The question mark for me is actually Fear's Ursa here. We've only seen 2 games of the Ursa so far here at Katowice, and it's only got a 50% win rate, 1-1. I'm not too bullish on the hero right now. I feel like the hero is just, it doesn't scale past that 25-minute marker unless you're really snowballing. So EG need to be able to secure themselves a good start for this Ursa.
Well, they'll attempt to do so, but at the same time, like Rubik versus the SK, we'll see who's going to be the better support, try and zone out this top lane. Fear's actually already being initiated on, down to 50% HP. Rubik's still taking a very long time. Misery went up the river. So Fear just being bullied out of the lane, while on bottom lane, then Sumail and Rams get to go head-to-head. The normal Terrorblade pickup, thanks for making things different and interesting. Metamorphosis pop early on, and they're just trying to really focus on crit. And that's a dangerous thing when Solo has that brain sap nuke. He can easily trade with the IO.
It's so important for Roger to do this in his top lane because look at Fear's item build. He went for the Orb of Venom. He looks for that 1v1 domination. But they're not going to let them have that. They're going to head this 2v2. They've already put pressure on him. They're going to look to burn out his regen. So the Ursa always feels a little bit trepidatious about challenging and going for those big swipe stacks.
Yeah, this is just the dual lanes we've been seeing so much of during this tournament. And it's going to change up Crit living life on a prayer. As Solo, he would love to go for more, but this one range creep is sticking on his tail, so he can't really juke it around and find him in the trees.
They actually brought an early healing salve down to this bottom lane for Crit. So he's actually baiting out the Tiny right now. He wants to be able to get that double heal in.
Yeah, bit more damage into Sumail, then you're going to be good. The lane which we're probably going to not really look at much because obviously going to be the dual lanes and still the mid, but I just want to flag it up while there's no kills happening on the other lanes. Arteezy versus no one. How do you feel the matchup goes with the Medusa versus the Gyrocopter? Oh boy. Actually with the Avalanche, Crit needs more distance, one more attack, bits uphill the down, and he misses up the hill. The tether back down again. Solo will at least be able to take the bounty room, but you may lose your life for it. Sumail's on the chase. Solo looking towards the Ancient Black Dragons. They're trying to balance out the attacks, and it will be Sumail with the Avalanche to spill first blood on the bottom lane.
Well played. I mean, we talked about how Crit was baiting out that healing salve from the get-go, but then he just baits it out that extra little bit. very fortuitous that he did manage to get the uphill miss, but either way, right, he could have just kept running straight up. If the miss didn't happen, his healing salve was canceled, he at least would have lived through that situation and successfully baited the Bane into a death.
It still seems problematic though. Like, okay, yeah, you killed off the Bane, you got the first blood, but what really is coming in return? I'm watching a 13-5 Terrorblade in this bottom lane versus a 6-2 Tiny. The Medusa is at least standing toe-to-toe with the Gyrocopter, but up on top, Fear, he's at 9-1. You're still getting a lot out of the Omni Knight, and when they get the Burrow Strike onto Misery, they get even more. Pasha finding that kill.
Ooh, bottom lane, they're gonna go for solo here. The Nightmare will protect him though.
As Sumail, still with the one charges as well, so he's got more mana up his sleeve when the time comes.
So the use of the courier to the bottom lane is actually why Fear is so far behind, because we already identified, hey, he's low on regen. He only went for one set of tangos. He wanted the 1v1. He only just now got his second set of tangos in South.
Ramsey's being initiated on the same time. Pasha's on the top lane having a lot of problems on the run. He is trying to stay alive. 35 HP stick charge will give him some time in the slow. Misery not getting what he wants out of Roger and Fear. Man, this guy needs to switch his boots back in again. He was trying to heal up, didn't have the movement speed for it.
They would love to be able to get the phase boots advantage to this Omni Knight up against this Ursa. It would make the lane a lot easier as they keep going forward. He's actually going to go for the early soul ring first. Since they are running this dual lane, they'll be able to have that just constant purification coming out. The mid lane is still going okay. I expect RTZ just to be able to do all right when it comes to farm. And because of the dual lane presence on both sides, he's not really going to be interrupted when it comes to his farm. He's not going to feel a whole lot of support presence in that mid lane either. So it should just kind of be good for both sides. But no one is going to be the one who rotates out early once he picks up his level 6, level 7. I would think he's going to go to the bottom lane and try and disrupt this tiny Wisp lane, see if he can get some early kills there. Meanwhile, Medusa is just going to keep himself camped in that mid lane and try and chip away at that mid tower.
Yeah, chip away at the tower, find the farm, and then just continue to scale. Sumail on the bottom lane. Chris been waiting for this one. He grabbed the Invis room when he had a little battle with Solo, but needs to give the extra regeneration into Sumail and keep him fighting on this bottom lane. Only got one more bottle charge left, but Sumail, okay, you can't hunt this much more. Closing the distance on Solo is almost impossible. But they have to do something about Ramses. Like, if there's one lesson we've learned during this ESL 1, it's you cannot allow a Terrorblade to get 1 level and 2 farm, and that's exactly what Ramses is getting.
Oh, they're bringing the Wisp out to this top lane. They see Pasha is pretty low. They want the extra firepower to be able to bring him down.
Well, if they can bait him into initiating, Roger's still hanging in the tree line. And now Misery, well, there it is, the Burrow Strike initiation, crit, ready to come over. Misery is the one being tethered. They'll pick up the on-ramp that gets the AoE stun. Back into Roger, Pasha will fall. Roger, he's got Sandstorm to hide it. Anyone bring detection? I'm afraid not. The Burrow Strike in, Roger kills off crit. It will be a tip for tat. Solo's also teamed up towards the top lane. Brains have already been committed, so Misery, low and hiding in the fog of war.
Now, Toby, you said it. They do have to do something about this Terrorblade. Unfortunately, their team doesn't have that kind of just early presence. So instead, they say, well, why don't we just leave Sumail alone in this situation? We'll bring the Wisp out to the top lane, get ourselves an early kill.
Oh, you leave him alone, and Sumail's probably going to die. That's Metamorphosis up, and Ramses wants to slow him down. Here comes Roger. Burrow Strike level 2 has the range to close the distance on Sumail. A quick avalanche into the trees. He's got stick charges as well as the team thief, but he doesn't have life to survive long enough. So a good rotation from Virtus Pro, finding the kill on that Tiny. Are you actually okay with it though? So you're talking about like you sack Sumail. Can the Medusa deal with the Terrorblade? We haven't really seen this matchup at all yet against the Terrorblade.
Well, Dusa is supposed to be really good versus these Illusion heroes, very good at dealing with pushers as well, because she just kind of stands in front of the tower and has Stone Gaze. So I think that's the only reason that EG isn't fearing too much the Terrorblade getting this farm. But still, I mean, Ramses himself said it, right? Terrorblade, probably the most OP carry of the patch right now. It is still very dangerous. I mean, I saw so many matchups where I'm like, oh, Terrorblade's not going to be able to kill this Dragon Knight, but he does.
Nightmare in mid, they're setting up. This is going to be very problematic for Arteezy. The shields are down, but crit comes in, giving the extra life. VP committed heavily to get this. And they will not claim the kill on the Medusa. Huge advantage of her when she's got the 2 points up in the mana shield.
And they're going to get the full heal off the Shrine as well.
Yep.
It's so hard to kill a Dusa with a Wisp on the team because he's giving you both the mana as well as the HP regen.
That's one other thing we haven't really broken down yet. The fact that Io, normally you think, oh, hey Io, you've got a good combination with the Tiny, but he can combine with so many of these heroes.
Well, they're going to try and burst Sumail. He just leveled up Sunder.
Oh, this would be problematic. Oh! It's just Sunder! Sumail! Help is there. Crit's in the neighborhood. They keep going on the run. And Sumail will get back towards the tower. Meanwhile, up on the top lane, Guardian Angel popped off by Pasha as Roger was getting very aggressive on the enraged Fear. Each team poking around. Sumail pokes harder. Solo will fall. There was no way for him to react in time. And now, with a pickup from Misery, Ramses doesn't have his Thunder this time, starts his TP, but there's no cancellation. The toss was on the melee creep.
Very fortunate for the Terrorblade. Just surrounded himself. That is also just good play from him because he positions himself on top of all those melee creeps, just hoping for the RNG of the toss not to be able to claim him.
God, this seems so big for Sumail. Call down. Easy. Shields. He'll be fine. But Sumail actually has the highest net worth of anybody on the map right now. CS decided to catch up. They're adding pressure into that bottom tier 1 tower. I'm glad he's changed his quick fire. Originally he had a Mithril Hammer in there. Now it's the Blink Dagger. So aggressive Sumail.
The panel talked about it. This is EG's bread and butter, and they set themselves up for it in the draft as well. Because if the Coddle wasn't banned, they banned Tiny instead, then they would have gone the Coddle Beastmaster combination. So either way, Evil Geniuses was going to get this aggro dual lane with their opening picks.
Misery's hiding in the trees up on top. I think he won't have a crack at Pasha. The Observer Ward that VP has down on this top lane watches the rotations, not the TPs over. That's why such a position can work, but only if Pasha wants to get over-aggressive on the Ursa. They also have that extra information thanks to the Dire Observer Ward on bottom. They know both Roger and Solo is down here. That's why they start up. The damage onto Pasha will not be enough. A quick TP back. Win. Sumail. Okay, that was a bit of mistiming. Burrow Strike happening at the same time as the Nightmare. They just toss Roger back over. Crit wants to give him the extra life to get Sumail back to the tier 1. It will not happen.
An extra bit of pop damage from the Sand King, just enough to be able to finish him off. They use Metamorphosis for this as well, so, ooh, Crit.
He needs something to jump
dead.
to. No, he's got help. Actually, no, maybe he's dead. He was healing as quick as he possibly could. Arteezy came at the right place, right time, but now Call Down is there. Medusa wants to fight. He can't kill off Roger. Not in time. Ramses will get the double kill and then return to the bottom lane.
Ramses just sees an opportunity to run down a Wisp, and all of a sudden it turns into a Medusa kill as well. That's crazy. I mean, now they don't have to really use that Metamorphosis to push the tower at all. They got more than enough value out of the use of that long cooldown ability.
So EG need to steady the ship. It's been pretty balanced so far until this last couple of minutes. It was only about 1,000 the advantage as far as gold goes, but this is now stretched over the 2K mark. 1.5K in the experience for Virtus Pro. Just that early swing advantage. And the supports from EG are probably the ones struggling the most. Both sitting at about 1,300 experience, 1,300 gold. And Fear, he's the man that tries to stay alive on the top. Guardian Angel is out. Fear's enraged is the thing that's protecting him. There's hardly any damage that can connect, but you just can't run away.
As always, though, Fear is the one who's taking pretty much the worst lane for Evil Geniuses. Sumail is definitely being enabled here, second in net worth, and about to take a tier 1 tower.
Yeah. So they give him the good start. Work with the Blink Daggers. We still haven't felt the effect of the IO yet through Relocate. We felt the effect of his regeneration, but that level 6 is approaching for Crit. And then VP got to be a little bit more careful about the fights they take, because there's always going to be reinforcements and heavy reinforcements.
See, Fear, he's also trying to work towards a Blink Dagger. They're just mass initiation. Look at the build, though, coming out from the VP members, both the Gyro and the Terrorblade picking up drums. They really need that initial amount of stats to make sure they don't get bursted down by the Tiny, and they don't let that snowball happen.
Mass coming in, the Nightmares on IO, and Sumail, he's not even going to stick around close enough for a tether. He's accepting the fact the IO is dead. So a lot of heroes that TP in, they all came underneath that Dire Observer Ward. So very difficult to get anything for VP that EG doesn't know about, but they're still claiming a lot through the lanes.
That ward. Spotted out. thanks to the aggressive vision already down from Evil Geniuses.
They're actually grouping up for their own fight. You've got a Invis Bane moving forward. He'll find the IO. He'll also see a big stack. Burrow Strike onto Sumail, a tether away for crit. So they all start holding hands. That's a big Ancient stack now, and this will be the point of contest for Virtus Pro. They have 3 points up in the flat cannon for the Gyrocopter. I'm wondering how much of this they can get rid of.
Yeah, this is exactly why Evil Geniuses do have this kind of aggressive vision down, because they want to be able to maintain control of that Ancient stack, of that farming triangle, and be able to see any rotations when VP go for the contest.
Well, VP are pushing the tier 1 tower. They're not actually contesting the stack. TZ started work on it, but it's very, very slow. So this will probably be our first major engagement of the game. As everyone's grouped up, Roger's looking for the Burrow Strike around the back. He's got the help from the Omni Knight, and what a big Burrow Strike catching to Sumail's Avalanche. Tries to create some space. Crit, Nightmare up, testing chances are available, but the Fiend's Grip holding Sumail in position. They toss him deeper under the tier 2 tower, but it's okay when VP are in such force. 4 heroes under the tier 2, claim 3 of EG.
The thing is contesting that Ancient stack is near impossible without taking that offlane tower. Virtus Pro make the read how important this push is, and they back it up with both Roger as well as Pasha's Omni Knight, making sure they're just going to run over whoever shows up to defend this. Another win, even if they're not going to be able to take the tower, VP are still outmaneuvering Evil Geniuses when it comes to their movements around in the lanes.
Interesting choice by Fear. He's going to stay up on the top lane. He's got no detection, so this gank doesn't work without a relocate. And, well, Crit's TPing into the shrine instead. Fear was actually TPing towards the bottom lane. Here comes your relocate down. They need to find Roger. He's already burnt the Sandstorm. Fear, his Blink Dagger back off cooldown again, and Roger will fall.
Man, they knew that Blink Dagger was coming. Oh, Misery got caught.
Yep, they're having a crack. Misery needs help. Okay, Misery actually just needs to be left to die.
Yeah, look how fast, like VP, they see that relocate. No one immediately just shuffles into the bottom lane. We're like, all right, no relocate. We're going to take this tower finally. They've also got the aggressive vision from VP into that dire offlane jungle area, getting some good vision of the that triangle of farm that we've been talking about.
This was a nice room for RTZ to find a double damage, so even though they lose the tier 1 tower on bottom, oh yeah, that's problematic. Here comes your tether. Fear after no one but Pasha once again. Then help out. The cooldown's going to be right on top of him. Crit needs more life to survive this. He doesn't have it. No one will bring him down, but Ramsey's so low. Arteezy turns on the Stone Gaze, and Virtus Pro caught like sticks in the mud. Now trying to retreat back out of the tier 1 tower. Fear with a blind blink. Went the wrong direction, however. And also has a homing missile on his tail. Sumail diving with him. Arteezy just wants to finish up the tier 1 tower. What he's done before. Sumail! Wait! Get out of there! He doesn't have enough life. Solo with the brain sap. Fear will drop down low. Can't believe that ended up happening. No one gets the kill onto Sumail. Arteezy does finish the tower, but oops.
Radiant creeps OP. They just surround Sumail right there on that edge.
I thought we're casting Dota, not Warcraft 3.
Perfect micro from the Radiant side.
From auto-pathing creeps, that's that thing that Sumail just make sure he doesn't tilt from. Keep his mind focused in the game.
Misery, he stole Burrow Strike earlier, and he is cleaning up a way to be able to get his Arcane Boots. All of EG has just been kind of trying to finish up their items so they can finally get into fighting shape. We have the Blink Dagger picked up by Fear, now Arcane Boots from Misery, the Urn from the Wisp. These are all very key early game items.
Such a big enabler as well. Like, it's not just for Misery, it's the fact that Sumail can use his combination and still get a little bit more mana.
Yeah.
And potentially do it a second time around.
And you've got a Wisp on your team as well, so you can get the double Arcane Boost from it. Oh, a swing and a miss there from Sumail, tried to lead with the Avalanche and completely whiffed.
Would have been a good time to try and fight him too. There's only 30 seconds left on cooldown for Sunder, but a 30-second window is all you need. Bottom lane initiation, Fear was also looking for that, but very smart from no one. Understands he's going to hide in the tree lines. As VP get aggressive up on top. Where's that pop damage? Misery with the Burrow Strike and the tree toss. Solo will end up dying, but Ramses triggers a drum charge, runs forward. They want that revenge kill onto Misery, and they will claim it. Sumail, blink in 2 seconds time, not required. As VP have backed off, as Fear approaches the tier 2 tower on bottom. TPs are on the way. Roger,
he's already setting up for this.
Here comes your epicenter. Look for the Burrow Strike. Fear doesn't get the enrage off in time. He now will pop it, or will he? Holding it for the moment. There's the enrage. Magic missile coming in behind him, but the relocate save. All the way back to base, but that homing missile will keep following him across the map, so they know when he comes back.
Arteezy was
Actually, it's gonna be
thinking
crit.
about positioning himself to be able to give the Wisp the tether.
Yeah.
But then he saw too many heroes from VP. They actually brought in the extra hero in the Bane just to make sure there was no opportunity where, oh, we're just going to get a Wisp kill, and all of a sudden he brings back the Ursa. You know, Medusa comes in as well.
That's what I was waiting for, but it just seems like EG are being a lot better today at just cutting their losses, understanding when they're not going to get the better fight. Smoke on smoke. Roger going to walk right into the back of Fear, and he blink burrow strikes forward. Samael blinks the wrong direction, trying to be the initiator. Avalanche onto Solar, but here comes your cooldown. Solar gets so much more life back from the brain sap, and the one charges. They can't even kill him. Fear and Samael, they're so low, and the Fiend's grip. Fear can't go anywhere. Two big cores from EG will go down. Misery will join them in the afterlife. And Virtus Pro are starting to roll over EG. The kill count's looking good. The only thing which is really the upside for Evil Geniuses is the amount of space that Arteezy has managed to claim.
Completely outplayed. Roger even does that extra move. Oh no, crit.
He just thought he could farm the mid lane, but Ramses was there waiting for him, and well played indeed. Crit will fall.
They're going to get top tower and probably mid tower too. I guess they do have a glyph. They can TP on Misery, see if they can lessen up this pressure. You are right, though. Arteezy is getting total free farm. It's at the cost of everyone else, though, on the side of Evil Geniuses. EG wanted to be able to at least get this tiny kind of, that snowball rolling a bit, even if Fear couldn't. But neither one of those cores is really getting the game going, so this game is going to fall heavily on Artur's shoulders pretty soon here.
Yeah, as if EG are going to try and hold the higher ground. Of course, Virtus Pro, with their objective, their team fight is still great. Their pickoff is fantastic. Their tower lane, their lane pressure is also great. So pushing everything to ensure that one, EG don't get even a moderate trade-off, but two, it's going to be about controlling the next Roshan. Don't allow Ursa to jump in there and get that. I'm still waiting to see when Fear will be capable of doing such a thing. Not the easiest ways from Virtus Pro to scout it, but I just feel like if you get that Aegis on VP, nothing's going to stop that push.
Cool item choices here from Pasha. Also picking up the drums and goes for the early Solar Crest. So that's going to be a great counter to this Ursa and his single target focus. Other than that, the level 15 talent, huge pickup for the Terrorblade, because we've been talking about how EG's focus with their double blink daggers is just being able to get that raw burst damage, be able to take one of these cores out. Well, Terrorblade has rapidly gotten out of the range of burst damage. He's sitting at 1500 HP with 26 armor. I don't see really a good way for EG to be able to kill him before Sunder goes down.
It's going to be sustained, right? Like, how do you even cancel the Sunder later on? It's not like, well, unless Rubik is going to continue to steal. That's the only way it can really bounce back the other direction. It's not like they have a silence.
Yeah, pretty much their window for their early game to go well for EG is kind of gone. And now they just have to kind of concede control of the map to VP at times.
Solar. He's slipping in through the back lines. He takes the creep wave with him up the hill. But this is the mid-tier 1 tower under attack. Misery is nearby. He stole a level 3 homing missile. Doesn't really have a close by target for this, and they can still relocate in the Tiny if EG wish to try and fight this. There goes the homing missile towards Arteezy. The Echo Saber just got completed for the Tiny as well, so they'll have that for this fight. Fear, however, really is not here at all. He's still on the bottom lane, he's still farming, he's still finding his space.
Oh, and they're just gonna boldly go straight to Roshan.
There was no vision from EG to know about this. The Observers and Sentries are down, and it looks like EG are not aware they're going to smoke up themselves, but who do they fight? The Sandstorming SK is the only thing they've really got to reveal. Now they find the bait. Avalanche toss, they get the burst combination on him, but then the Burrow Strike on the other side. Fear and Arteezy, they want to get into this mess, but VP have just Delta split out. They still have that Aegis, the Immortal Raider fight on the back of no one, and Arteezy Stonegate is gone. Epicenter, the double Burrow Strike, catching Misery too. This will be a triple kill for Ramses, and maybe even an Ultra as the Samael will fall. Ramses takes the Ultra kill. EG dead for so long without buybacks. It's only Fear, the man that wasn't really there.
So well played by Virtus Pro. They bait out that stone case, they back themselves away, kind of reset, wait for Roger to be able to find that initiation. And Roger Sand King has been so on point this game from his start at pressuring the Ursa to make sure that he wins that lane for the Omni Knight, or at least makes it so he doesn't just get run over by the Ursa in that 1v1. He gets an early Blink Dagger. He managed to find multiple great Blink Burrow strikes, and that epicenter was just beautiful. That AoE combination combined with the flat cannon, there was poor crit. He was just sitting in the river and he instantly died from so much AoE, especially the flat cannon shots. He just doesn't stand a chance against this.
Let's have a quick look at it once more. So Fear and Arteezy, they're meant to be the big bullies in this, but Roger, the epicenter available, the control has disappeared once that Burrow Strike connects. You can see Fear sitting in the trees. Nothing more he can do to help his team at this point.
Yeah, and Sumail tries to go back in. Honestly, the moment the Stone Gaze was popped and Virtus Pro started backing themselves away, you could kind of make the read that this fight was actually lost from EG. And it was just a question of how many people Virtus Pro was going to be able to kill in that engagement. Turns out they got 4 of them. Yep, it's near perfect for them.
And the next fight's going to be even stronger. The BKB will come out in the Courier for no one for the next fight. You've already got a Halberd. Now you got a Halberd, a Solar Crest drums for Omni Knight, and he's looking towards an Aghanim Scepter next. Even more problematic. The Blink was already there from Roger, being massively effective too. And they'll have more items rolling in.
Now, Virtus Pro is doing a great job. They are controlling this game. They're up by 10K, but before 25 minutes, they're looking on a trajectory to be able to close this out pretty quickly here. In like the next 7 minutes, I feel like they're gonna have a lane of racks. But it is still Evil Geniuses with a tough to break high ground because they have the split push of the Tiny Wisp, and they'll also have a Dusa who's going to be the one sitting on that high ground, and he's closing in on Scotty. So VP still have to keep a very clean game.
If they push right now, Medusa won't be there in time. The Courier, I think, is only now bringing out the TP scroll.
Oh dear.
So Arteezy actually cannot TP back right now, but VP unaware of this information, hence Ramses returns to the mid-tier 2. Now they'll see it as the Courier goes over the Observer and Sentry Ward.
Tiny, trying to get this tower, but again, VP are just not conceding anything. They're always making sure that they're contesting these towers when possible. No need to give Sumail any free gold. He's trying to work towards that BKB.
It's still going to be fun to try and watch VP push high ground. Like you're talking about like the mass defense, but this is just enabled even more by the fact that Arteezy has found so much farm. So he's only about 1,200 gold away, or at 1,300 gold away from having a full Skadi. That's a lot of stats. That's also that slow to potentially kite out Virtus Pro. Even though it seems like VP are the ones doing the better kiting after that Stone Gaze.
Yeah, Arturo, I would say, is probably one of the best farmers in the meta right now, but VP, probably some of the best team fighters. They're so good at being able to play around each other, and we're seeing it time and time again. Their rotations have just been so on point. Pasha has been doing fantastic on that Omni Knight. I love the fact that he picks up the level 15 experience talent and is purely focusing on just getting that Aghanim Scepter. The Heaven's Halberd was a great choice as well. Fear has no game. Between going up against an Omni Knight and facing up against 2 different forms of evasion, one has a disarm as well against an Ursa. I'm not sure what he could possibly do in these engagements.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's why like you're just watching him building up items like, Aghanim Scepter. Okay, how does that actually help him? Top lane defense, Medusa's TPing back, Ramses will burn the Metamorphosis. They want to try and defend this one, and Arteezy, well, they're already having to burn off the fortification. This is great news for Virtus Pro. They can keep this pressure up. If they can keep that catapult alive as well, actually, they don't care. Fear has taken the tier 2 tower on bottom lane. They're looking behind themselves. This sustained push becomes more problematic now for VP.
Yeah, that Scotty does change things a bit, but there's no rush for VP. Eventually, they're going to get themselves, you know, a later game BKB for the Terror Blade. They're going to have no one dealing out a lot of physical damage because he's getting Butterfly up next. So they will still have that kind of like, all right, we'll just force it and kind of see what happens. The only real defense that EG has, like the very clear one, is using Stone Gaze, but you have to make sure, and we've seen this so many times in Medusa games, you have to make sure you actually win the team fight in the use of that Stone Gaze. You cannot afford to just use it to reset.
This would explain his item build as well. The fact that Arteezy is lining up a Divine Rapier. He needs this to work out. You said about the burst damage. You don't get it from magical burst. You get it from the physical burst. Just that amplification crit just stays with Arteezy. Ensures that he is okay. He'll sacrifice himself for the greater Dusa.
Oh, I like this choice from Fear. Picking up the Radiance up next for him.
Radiance.
So he can try and get some miss percentage chance on that Terror Blade.
It's funny because you'd think like maybe you'd be able to go into that nullifier and be the front liner, but you're right, he understands his role is, he feels like a centaur right now. Like, can I just jump in the front lines, be really impossible to kill by hitting Enrage, and then just be problematic more than anything else?
Yeah, that's kind of where the Aghanim Scepter comes in, right? He can jump in and they can't just like Nightmare him or Fiend's Grip him or even just Burst Strike him. He can always hit that R button no matter what kind of stuns are placed on him.
God. If they have a Blink Dagger on this Bane, then Fear will have a very hard time doing what he's doing at the moment. Just continuously adding the pressure on the bottom lane, forcing rotations from Virtus Pro down here. With the death of that tier 2 tower, VP will definitely have it in the back of their minds. We don't have to learn the lesson that Fnatic taught Team Secret. Like, if you're able to just keep pushing in that bottom lane as Dire side, you can always go for the trade-off. You always have a creep wave momentum, jump on the back of it. And with an IO Tiny, then we learn the lessons from every other split-pushing team that came before him. Understand that backdoor does not protect from a Tiny. Especially if he can complete up the BKB and then have the relocate from IO.
Yeah, and this is why it's so important that they kept their offlane tier 1 tower and their other tier 2s protected so far, just to be able to make sure that later on in the game when they are faced with that proposition of, are we gonna hit high ground right now while they're split pushing us, at least they'll have some buffers in the way.
It's like, give me that Omni Knight Ags, please.
Oh yes.
Correct, the great buffer. Terrorblade's now finished up his Dragonlance, so more maneuverable Ramses. He's already got insane, like 441 movement speed. He's pretty happy where he is. But this high ground defense continues for EG. Things have slowed down a little bit more. The advantage is still going the way of Virtus Pro consistently in the goal graph. They've now cracked around 12k. The experience is bouncing back and forward. That's
Scary
because
thing,
EG getting a lot out in the side lanes.
This Terrorblade hasn't even hit, well now he does, level 20. So there's that big minus 10 second on the reflection cooldown. I love the fact that VP's playing this pretty slow and waiting until they really hit their peak. They can get Roshan number 2, pick up the cheese, make sure they have these later levels on some of these heroes like that. Again, that reflection talent is huge.
I'm still concerned it's all coming a little too late if these items can arrive for Evil Geniuses. Like, Fear is now sitting at 3.7k, so the Radiance is approaching for him. TZ's finding less space on the map, mainly because he's just on defense duty while they get this Radiance into Fear. And also because TZ is scared to go into the Bermuda Triangle of camps.
Yeah, he finally gets a little bit of relief.
Yeah,
because he feels like the pressure coming out from the Ursa and the Terrorblade showing that they're not going to make that move without the Terrorblade. I think when you're up this far, if you're Virtus Pro, you don't really try anything offensive without at least your Terrorblade, if not your full 5.
What if he spent some of his money? Like, it's sitting at 3.4k gold at the moment. As far as buybacks go, everyone at EG has buyback apart from Crit. Rubik is just a little bit short.
And they're gonna get double butterflies. And that physical damage that we're talking about from the Dusa, it's not gonna look so hot.
Maybe that's also the time too where TZ holds his gold a little bit longer so they can decide if they get something else. Like, is it worth getting the MKB over the Rapier?
Possibly, but I think it's just a hard game for Dusa in general. You honestly, most of the time, you just don't want to go that item.
He switched it. He actually switched it. The courier needs to make the trip down, so he's picked up the double javelins.
Double butterflies, plus a halberd, plus solar crest.
Sumail seems to be double guessing as well. The item he wants to buy. Like, he bought the BKB before. Now he's bought it again.
Maybe he was just thinking about holding on to buyback.
They're actually gonna have all of them almost. Like, Fear is so close to the relic money. 500 gold off. So there's the MKB. So they could already see the double butterfly is coming, and they're reacting perfectly, EG. And they're reacting with this item now. Don't wait for the Rapier later. They need it now because they need to fight around potentially Roshan. He'll spawn up in around 30 seconds time.
Yeah, it's later Roshan, so it could have actually been up right now. EG have no way of knowing.
The smoke, Misery, and Bane both walking close to each other and break the smoke. Observers are planted down so they get some vision on the high ground. Sentries as well, no one comes in close to Mail. The big jump, he went right into the middle of Virtus Pro, but he's so far away from the rest of his team that BKB cannot protect him. And Solo, the Nightmare, it's on RTZ. Crit needs to save him, and there it is, the relocate out. Just in time. Crit will have to sacrifice himself for Arteezy once more.
I mean, they were fully committed to all these items, so they mess up one team fight, no buybacks, and that's free high ground for Virtus Pro.
Crit tries to protect himself with the Ghost Scepter. He's at least wasting time with Virtus Pro, so they can't just push in straight away. But Terrorblade moving towards the north, and Misery needs to try and slow him down as best he can, but he can't survive it. There's just so much damage. Not easy. The Fiend's grip is up. Misery needs help out, but the Barrage Strike! Roger catches both of them down. Evil Genius is in a world of hurt. Don't give up, never surrender, but EG, they'll surrender. Evil Geniuses have been completely wiped in their base as Virtus Pro take game 1 of this best of 3.
Woo! Virtus Pro just looked amazing. I think they played such a clean game. I think their draft was really on point. They just identified the two big things that Evil Geniuses really needed to go right, which was their two cores outside of the Dusa. You can't afford to just like win this game as a solo Dusa. They kill those tempo controllers entirely. They make sure the Ursa has a bad lane. They make sure Sumail doesn't really get out of control. They pick up some early stat items to make sure that, hey, the Blink Dagger on Ursa, the Blink Dagger on Tiny, they're not gonna be able to just run around and killing heroes and get that snowball rolling. We're gonna have the initial stats to prevent that. And then they also did another great thing, which is making sure they get a little bit of group up and they don't spread out and don't get picked off.
Yep, I'm wondering how EG now mentally approach game number 2. Obviously, things became a little bit more rough for them in that. The Medusa pickup, not really functioning the way you thought. We actually thought their draft was going to be really good when you had that IO up and running. Maybe they lost their way. Maybe the Enigma 4th pickup is also where things didn't really go right and they just tried to repair their draft. They didn't get exactly what they wanted after that Bane got picked up, just restricting the Enigma grab. But, and what do you want from EG? What do you want to change for game 2?
I want to change a little bit of something. I was saying I wasn't really a big fan of the Ursa, so I would like to be able to see they make sure they enable one of these heroes because Virtus Pro, they took such good control of the early to mid game. They got to make sure they can actually contest that. So if you have some of your tempo controls like this Ursa, they want to make sure that they enable him in the laning phase.
Yep. So enable your cores, keep your rotations going. That is the key for EG, and they'll need it for game number 2.
They absolutely will. Thank you very much. Toby One and Cap will be back with the commentary team, of course, for game number 2 very shortly. But let's give our analysts, our panel of experts, a chance to talk you through exactly how Virtus Pro have dismantled Evil Geniuses in game 1. We're back with Nahaz, Purge and Fogged. Changed your name there for a minute.
Yes.
Purged,
yes,
which is
past
quite
tense.
good because that's what EG just got did. Oof.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a tough game for them.
Yeah.
You know, one of the downsides of IO is that if you don't win the lanes, then it can be a little bit iffy in terms of gank pressure. And once they got in the mid game, EG just lost a couple trades kind of poorly. Maybe not, it wasn't their fault, just VP played better, and then it just led to this big advantage for VP.
Yeah, it was like that all the way through the game, though, Adam. Even in the early game, there was a moment where Sumail got caught out a little bit. It wasn't much, but it was enough for them to shut him down, and then Crit couldn't quite get away, and they shut him down. And that led to a 3rd kill in it. And that seemed to be the story of the game.
I think really what led to all of that sequence of events is you're seeing Crit dying. This is a big moment in the game, right? What led to this whole sequence of events is going to be that EG went away from the game plan that's carried them to success against VP, that being the aggro dual lanes, aggro trial lanes, put pressure on that safe lane. If you're going to run that top lane dual lane, the Ursa Rubik, pick a Lycan there. Because for the rest of the game, they had Ursa split pushing, right? I just don't understand. Ramses was able to just get uber farmed in the safe lane, and a couple of those players are close. This, you see here, Sumail has to be down toward his tower. He's trying to make space for Arteezy to clear off this ancient stack, propelling Medusa's farm into the game. They just never were able to get off to the start they wanted in the lanes.
Fogged, I also want to pick up on the Arteezy role because it seemed in the early game, Virtus Pro just kind of left him to it. They didn't really care that he was farming up. It was more like, as long as they can shut everyone else down, I don't really care what he's doing.
Yeah, they put focus elsewhere. They realize it's a Dusa single core lineup at the end of the day, and if they just kill every other hero, they've got a dual core. They've got this Terrorblade who matches up decently versus Dusa with the reflection talent. You see that one always be coming to use, but I think Ramses played incredible this game, but for me, it's really up to the supports. I thought Roger had such a big impact on the game. Him staying top, he pressured, and then that movement bottom, he had like double stun. That actually makes like such a difference. He's able to get both supports with that, and I felt in comparison, when I look at the performances from EG in the other days, it was when Crit and Misery were on fire. This game, I did not feel Misery on fire.
Yeah, a relatively quiet game.
Yes.
Yeah. In terms of Virtus Pro, though, That's a fantastic way to start the series.
Yeah, they're going to be really happy with that one, especially because they basically beat EG at their own game. I think EG will probably drop the IO because they were aggressive in that lane. And yes, they made a couple plays where like the bounty one with the salve where he missed uphill. That one was great, but the next couple ones where the IO dies to the Terrorblade and then Arteezy goes for the DD and dies, moments like that absolutely put them on the back foot. So I think they might need something a little bit more reliable that they can gank and get back in the game if they get behind.
Yeah, that's a good point as well, isn't it, Alan? Because these games do turn on such small moments in the game, and there were plenty of small moments that all added together kind of gave Virtus Pro the advantage.
They absolutely do, and I think that VP were the better execution team. Let's not take anything away from the fact that they just played better, period. I still feel backstage right now, Bulba is talking to the team, look, we went away from our game plan. We need to crush Ramses, ruin his early game.
Okay, good thoughts. We're going to take a break here in Katowice. When we come back, Game 2's draft will be upon us. Plenty of questions for both coaches backstage, no doubt, but one will be happier than the other one. Virtus Pro lead right now, 1-0 against Evil Genius. We'll be back soon.
They fight. The Sandstorming SK is the only thing that really goes for reveal. Now they find the bait. Avalanche toss. They get the burst combination on him, but then the Burrow strike on the other side. Fear and Arteezy. They want to get into this mess, but VP have just Delta split out. They still have that Aegis, the Immortal Raider fight on the back of no one, and Arteezy Stonegate is gone. Epi Thunder, the double Burrow strike, catching Misery too. This will be a triple kill for Ramses, and maybe even an Ultra as the mail will fall. Ramses takes the Ultra kill.
I want to get in there.
Wow, I'm actually dead.
You dead? Yeah, I'm dead.
Never, dude.
Dude, look at that macro pyre, dude. Oh my god.
Game, record, and stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Life is all about following a few simple rules. Get married. Move to the suburbs. Start a family. Be humble. Time to grow up.
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
ESL 1 Katowice is brought to you in part by Intel, Mercedes-Benz, Vodafone, Alienware, PaySafeCard, Logitech G, and Hacks.
It might well be a little chilly outside right now, but right now inside the Spodek Arena, things are starting to warm up very nicely. Virtus Pro take first blood with Game 1 in the bag, and Game 2's draft is just a few moments away. We're back with our panel members once more to discuss that draft and more, of course, as we head into Game 2. Can Virtus Pro wrap it up, move on to the semi-finals quickly? That's the big question. But there's plenty of other questions, Alan. Huge questions for EG now, because they've had their IO Tiny, that hasn't worked. They've got a couple of other alternatives that they would like to run, but Virtus Pro now have the advantage, don't they, going into this draft?
I actually think that EG, if they played that game again, you change two things. You pull that Rubik out of the top lane earlier, put him down and pressure the Ramses. And I think going into this game, I would not be surprised to see EG ban the Bane. The Bane's 23 strength. That's tied for 5th among non-strength heroes in the game. Almost 5 starting armor. That's top 20 in the game. He was level 3 very early on. That Brain Sap does 150 damage, 150 heal for 100 mana. He really created problems for that dual lane.
And it's even harder when your other support is an IO. That's 2 heroes that do very little damage at level 1, level Two, even if they did do the aggressive tri-lane, you're still up against a Terrorblade that has like 10 armor at level 1. So like a tri-lane situation might not even worked out for them. So maybe if it's a different carry, things could be different. They could lane it differently. It could go okay, but maybe swap supports, maybe prevent the Terrorblade.
We yesterday, Alan, we picked out a number of heroes, amongst them the Dragon Knight, the Razor, the Naga, the Bane, the ET and the Bat, with exceptional win rates here, and yet some of them are still squeaking through.
I mean, that's the thing. You can't ban everything, right? We've gone a little while now. I think a lot of people expected that the Thursday patch before the tournament might actually have some hero tweaks, and so it was more of an overall, and that's fine. We're moving to this new patch cycle, right? But as a result, you see that sort of elite group of heroes that's really at the top of the meta, and that is why the overwhelming, I think yesterday it was 41 out of 44 teams with selection priority at this event had opted for first pick.
All right, second draft is just moments away. Fogged, what do you want to see from EG this time?
I'm wondering if Terrorblade, it just becomes higher priority here too. Especially like when you see like a last pick Terrorblade, it does seem like it's so devastating. You have to play just completely different. You have to change your whole play style. So I do think that one might change, and I do think, like Alan was mentioning, like you guys were talking about, the support duo is going to change.
We talked a lot about Terrorblade at the start of the week as one of those core heroes, these key heroes that could change games, and lots of teams play him, right? And we didn't really see it in the first few days. It was sort of there and thereabouts, didn't have the greatest win rate, wasn't really picked that much. Why has it taken a while for him to explode into the game when we expected him right from the start?
Well, I think it's the Razor, right? I think the Razor just makes that hero stand out even more because you can't pick these traditional carries. And look how relaxed they are. They got their feet on the table. Is that Ramses? That must be Ramses, right?
That's normal, yeah.
Did you play with shoes?
Not always, but sometimes. It's okay. I know what ISIS always wear sandals.
Yeah.
So
and there is the TV ban, first phase by Young Geniuses.
I mean, that was another really significant thing in last game we didn't cover, is that there were a couple Sunders in the laning stage that absolutely saved his life that would have been kills for EG, and if those don't get prevented, like they would have snowballed a little harder, maybe had a closer game. It certainly was an issue.
And they used it aggressively too. That was my favorite part. It was like, you just saw Ramses kind of sitting at low HP, and then they'd rotate the secondary support, they'd rotate Roger down, and they'd be like, oh, we actually have a kill threat now, rather than maybe this Tiny's gonna get healed up by too much by the IO, but you put Tiny at 200 HP, not going to get healed up so much anymore.
How many of the big plays of the tournament so far that we've seen have been these hero Sunders? You think about Miracle, you think about Arteezy has had a couple, I believe, these ridiculous Sunder plays in the early game, and VP are going to open with the Naga. Beastmaster, Io, aggressive dual lane for Evil Geniuses. 10-1 is Sumail on that Beastmaster. I think he's the best player right now in the pro game on that hero.
Are you surprised that that's through?
Snap picks.
I mean, Naga is also extremely good. Once she picks up Meteor Hammer, she has a guaranteed stun on potentially 2 or more heroes. So, and she also has pretty high armor, so she can definitely contest the IO, especially if she gets on top of the IO. Ensnare plus Riptide and any other heroes hitting that guy, that little ball of light's gonna explode.
5 seconds. Snap picks from both sides, though. No hesitation.
Again, they both know each other so well, don't they?
Yep. And again, the key question becomes, as we've been talking about, is EG going to go back to that Rubik Wisp support duo with the Omni Knight already on board for Virtus Pro?
I think you change.
I just feel like Misery is. I feel like he's due for a bounce back, because he's a solid Rubik player. He's not spectacular on the level of GH or Yapzor, but I feel like he's going to bounce back if they pick it in this game.
Naga has really good stuff to steal anyway, so I think it could work out. Ban-wise, EG ban on Tiny and a Bane ban.
Oh, the Bane ban from VP. Wow.
So it's a hero that can actually combat Naga and win the trade, so...
It's a good Misery hero as well.
Is that the first time that Tiny's not been picked or banned in the first phase?
No, he's made it through the second phase, I think, 3 times?
3 times.
It was 3 up to yesterday, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, EG's got their offlane set up. Everything else is really flexible. VP can potentially abuse some matchup advantage, but I feel like Beastmaster will do fine against him. Just physical damage, he can heal through a lot of it, but they can definitely get a trade advantage against him.
This is like Anna said, though, Sumail doesn't get that many opportunities to play this beast.
Yeah,
he does
but
not.
When he does,
so often
my goodness, it's good.
Yeah.
Now, the Disruptor is still in the pool so far with 2 bans to come before the second phase. VP have shown that Naga Disruptor combo in their opening game against the tournament. Oh, that was Genting, that they played it against Optic.
That's a good point. It's good against IO as well.
Oh, it's here.
Like all the times that EG picked Beastmaster, it felt so one-sided. I don't even know what counters it. It's like, except for like Ursa, I guess.
Yeah, and I think they played against an Ursa before and got destroyed.
Yeah.
Fnatic, same thing, I think.
Bandit Dragon Knight. Solo seemed very happy about that one too, giving it a clap.
10 seconds remaining.
High armor hero can actually withstand the force of that Beastmaster and IO duel lane. And the Disruptor is left in the pool if they do want it.
They don't get first pick out of the thing, do they? Should be EG's pick, yeah.
Yeah, EG picks for second phase.
I don't see them picking Disruptor themselves, so VP's kind of set if they want to go for that combo. Certainly a little scary for EG, but Disruptor's also low armor, can do a little damage in lane, but isn't the best at trading hits. So maybe EG can exploit that.
10 seconds remaining.
Again, I think the big question is, do you go back to the Rubik? Okay, the Sky. Wow. All right, so the other hero that I was going to talk about potentially here for EG that they've shown is the Lion. And this is sort of a similar idea. You got the big burst damage potential and the silence coming out, potentially disrupting any team fight combo that VP is going to pick around the Naga.
IO Skywrath supports, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, kind of interesting. So lots of damage. Good at harassing the lane, not good at taking damage for either of those two, but if you pair a stun with Sky, he's a really good hero. And these heroes are difficult to gank, both Omni and Naga Siren, so.
It's yeah, I think it's mostly played around the silence in this one versus the Omni Knight, so you prevent him from actually being able to have that big presence.
Surely this would not be a core Skywrath.
If it was Sumail mid, maybe. I could see that.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I'd be surprised if it were. Especially versus like Repel.
Yeah, exactly. You got an Omni Knight already on board. That's,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah, last 3 months, the only plan that's played in EG is Misery. So it would be very unusual.
Yeah, I've just heard
moved away from that.
I've heard a couple of rumors. We'll see. Okay. Again, the classic, it got banned out first phase, right? In the last game when EG knew that they were going to pick that Wisp. But it's the classic IO counter as a support.
It's such a good pick. Like, I feel like he drops Death Ward and he just targets the support and he doesn't even Maledict, he's going to kill him because they all have such low armor. Like, they're very vulnerable on EG's support duo right now.
Yeah, laning phase also, the cask is always going to be incredible versus IO. Every time he tethers, you just throw it out. And it gives them, now they have duo kill potential with the 2 supports. Naga plus
Third. Against his Death Prophet.
Yeah, they would need a hero to pair with IO anyways that actually is tanky to make better use of the resistance, so. And also a big damage dealer, so she can frontline.
They don't have so much to keep the Death Prophet in the fight, like with the catch. Right. It's just the Beastmaster Roar to hold them in place during the Exorcism.
Yeah, we always talk about with Death Prophet picked at the pro level, the presence of saves, either the classic saves like the Dazzle, Shadow Demon, or Astral, or something just to zone the enemy heroes out of the fight. And there's very little here to protect the Death Prophet so far. You wonder if EG's thinking about a 5th pick Void.
I think right now, with the Death Prophet and the Skywrath, they're doubling up on the silences to be able to make sure that that Omni Knight can't get into the fights too easily.
I could just see Virtus Pro going back to basics here and just going ahead and picking Gyrocopter.
I was thinking the same thing, but it was actually banned first phase.
Oh, God. Yeah. Sorry, I just can't see that.
Jump the gun.
Yeah, well.
Would have been me. I was real close. So some other carry. I think high physical damage would be good because of all the low armor heroes. BKB carrier is not bad despite Roar. I think that could be effective.
Could take Viper for no one.
That could, yeah, there it is. Good call. Yeah, that was a really solid pick. I mean, it's heavily magic damage. It's survivable. It can lane okay. Transition's alright. I like it. So it's carry for VP for their last pick, and EG is looking for their carry as well.
Yeah, boy, oh boy.
What about Phantom Lancer for EG, maybe? Is that too passive?
There isn't a lot of disable on VP, so
yeah,
that could be an option.
Not much AoE either.
I just can't. Okay, more heroes, guys. Get me away from the Void.
Hey man, you're the guy
because
with the computer. Come on.
All right, fair enough. I just can't. I can't think of a hero for EG.
You think Void into Naga? That's the
I
thing.
know, but EG has no zoning in these team fights, right? They have the roar, and that's it. I mean, they really have no way to control the fight.
Yeah, it's a common IO problem, I find.
I know. I want to get my brain off the Void because I know Void into sleep is just awful.
Virtus Pros turn to ban.
They banned the Life Stealer.
Yeah,
That would have been really good.
that's a Ramses classic. It's just one of his comfort heroes.
And Morphling banned out, that would have definitely worked.
Okay.
Versus heavy.
I love that pick.
Rarely seen at the tournament. I think LGD drafted it once, but it's very good against single tanky sort of damage dealing heroes that don't scale traditionally.
Very high armor versus Beastmaster in the
Exactly.
laning phase too, so you can actually tank the X's and not get completely slaughtered. by the
Huge
right
armor,
clicks.
and you're playing DP without a phase, without a save rather. What's the biggest thing I think that bothers you is burst physical, and Troll gives you that burst physical element no matter the other four heroes in your draft.
Yeah, this VP draft looks really good.
Yeah, that's, man. This is a draft where they give their homework, and it is going to be the Luna. All right. I mean, again, it sort of checks that box. It gives you that way to zone the fight because of the threat of the Eclipse.
Mixed magical damage too versus Omni Knights through the GA.
I think that may have been the best fifth pick that they could have come back with, but I don't think it's enough.
Okay, we're going to go down the line for predictions.
No, you said you, Toby. You took my line. Took my line.
It's ball. Game 2, EG versus Virtus Pro. Now, I heard from a very reliable source, so the biggest gossip going around in the CIS region right now is the fact that Virtus Pro have actually not won a series against EG in 4 years. Is presumably what everyone's talking about. I'm saying from a reliable source. Nahans can double check that one later out. But VP, I am interested to see if this draft can carry them there. It looks good, but at the same time, that isn't Arteezy Luda. That was the hero at TI that was the big savior for him.
Toby, they came into this series with some fire underneath. They absolutely planned out their draft. I think they gave themselves, they were like, look, we're going to give them Tiny. We know they're going to go for the Wisp. We have this idea of being able to win these lanes. We pick the Gyro Sand King, a nice team fight combination, deals with the Tiny really well.
Needs to run north right now. Smoke broke. Underneath the tier 1 tower, Virtus Pro won't dive and get an anticlimactic start. And again, both sides put down observer wards on the opposite sides of the river. This time though, VP actually blocked the camp.
Yeah, this time around they give them the Beastmaster Wisp. And I think Troll is a really good answer to that, right? Because he has this spacing where he can play the ranged form up against some of the aggression of the Beastmaster. When Beastmaster really tries to challenge him, he's got whirling axes to get that miss percentage. He's got physical damage to lay into a Wisp who has no armor to start. They also got the Witch Doctor, which we saw as a third ban from Chases when they saw the opportunity in that first 1-2 to be able to get Wisp. They banned that Witch Doctor for a reason. It's so good versus these Wisp lineups.
Watching both of the supports of EG and VP sitting, try and snipe out a courier. It's a Skywrath mage, an easier one to snipe out a mid-courier. Roger is just... Actually, Roger in perfect view of all of Evil Genius just cuts across lane.
Man's got to go. Yeah, he's got to get to his lane. He's got to get to bottom. Gotta get. He wants to be able to secure Pasha his lane just like he did last time. And he'll have a good time coming in from the top. Obviously, Arteezy's not going to do a lot of damage in this. Like, he's walking around with 1 point up in the Lunar Blessing. Never really get much of a bite from the Lunar in the early stages, just more enabling the other supports. The top lanes where it's going to be a little bit more brutal. The Axe as well as Io versus Troll, Witch Doctor. A lot of stun combinations to come in. The bottom lane's just more up in your face. The 2 melees from Virtus Pro going up against the 2 ranges. If we really want to count Lunar as a range, her attack range is actually quite pitiful. Man, this is getting really difficult for Solo. He just keeps on getting clipped by these wild axes, and Sumail is going to have near infinite amount of those. I've watched extensively the Sumail Beastmaster. I've followed his replays. I've seen it with the Wisp as well, and it's just a non-stop axe fest. It's going to be so obnoxious to play a support against it. But VP are trying to do the same thing, right? They identified they're not going to try and ever match this aggro duel coming out from EG. They're always going to run an aggro duel lane of their own.
Yeah, and it really has been very aggro. Misery's just been running around for the past 15 seconds trying to make sure his clarity doesn't get cancelled by Roger, who's very much dedicated to doing such a thing. But you're starting to get more and more damage out of Arteezy. Parch just copying a lot more too. Luckily for him, he did get that early magic wand, so he's got a lot of regeneration as well as life to give through purification. And thanks to the aggression they added to the bottom lane, both the bounty runes will also go the way of the Naga. And Solo, well, he's not going to get both of them. Crit will take the one up on top.
And that's pretty important, right? Because of his early bottle, he needs to be able to get those refills, so Sumail can just keep on throwing those wild axes. Ramsey's brought the extra regen into lane. He's already down, though, to 2 tangos and 7 magic wand stacks. So he is beginning to feel the pain of the wild axes, just like the Witch Doctor was.
Yep. Eventually, this is going to hit a point where Couriers can't bring consumables fast enough, and someone's going to be sitting low on life. No one's actually going through his last consumables as well after Fear was getting a little bit more aggressive on him. Should also flag the fact that, like, okay, top lane, trouble, as Crit away. Sumail's going to give him the distance to tether over. The axe will fly, but the damage is still there from Virtus Pro to get not only 1, but potentially 2 kills. Chasing down Sumail, but there's no extra control on him. The body block from Ross. Oh, okay, I take it back. Maybe there is some extra control. He can stick charge and go for another instead. He's got Maledict, but yep, in comes Crit. Looks to return and keep the fight going. Paralyzing Cask, the biggest problem for a tether target. And Ramsey, the double range axes. Sumail and Crit are in trouble. The kill on Solo, but that won't work. Sumail will pop to the Maledict. And Virtus Pro now 3 kills to 0, 3 minutes in.
Sumail, I think that was just a bit of experience in the past where he felt like Beastmaster can always challenge on those situations. He can always go on these 1v2s, especially if he has the levels, and just throw wild axes and bump. The problem was he was fighting a Naga Siren, one of the highest armor supports you could possibly go against. So despite the increase in damage from wild axes, he still couldn't win that.
Oh, Fear, he really needs this kill to work. 2 points up in the Crib Swarm. He needed that 1 extra attack. It wouldn't be enough. Very far from being burned by no one. This mid lane has just been going the way of the Viper. 18-10 to the 9-2 of the Death Prophet.
That being said, Fear will have a time to win the lane right now because no one only has that 1 tango and has no salve. Oh, he's got a magic wand coming in, but he won't have a salve. So if they actually get, say, a rotation with the Wisp or something, it could be that Fear gets a little bit of recovery in lane.
Roger comes in, he's got a salve on top of him if they want to give him the extra life. So far, they're not doing it. The 4-minute rune getting up by Pasha. It's an invis rune. Wow. So they want to try and close the distance if possible onto Fear. Supports there as well. 4 heroes from Virtus Pro converging on Fear. He's up the time. Spirit Cypher needs to begin. He needs more life. With the Fairy Fire, Fear will die under the tower. Solo's Maledict tick once again kicking in. Remember when they went for that dive at the behind the tier 1 offlane?
They did something very similar here where they knew it's a tough kill, so they have to bring the extra heroes. I'm loving the fact that Pasha is willing to make these rotations.
Top lane, the ensnare is out. A little bit of troubles for Crit. Tethered down towards Misery, who TP'd in to help out. With the concussive shot, Roger will be slowed up, but Ramsey's ready to fight. 9 1-shots for him, so a lot of mana to still regenerate up. Misery is going to be his primary target to begin with. Roger, still a lot of life available. Crit can't keep him alive. He's salving up inside the tree. Sumail wants to go for Roger. He's got access up in a couple of seconds. Roger, so low on life. He's still got the 1-shot. Just turns back in for a quick time, enabling Ramsey's. The now focus on Crit. Cask and the ensnare. snare. They help Misery in position, but it's still a bit more of a tit for tat. 2-for-1 trade-off, now a 2-for-2. Ramses needs to get back to the tower. Samael needs more damage with the whirling axes. He gets hit with a 6% miss chance. Doesn't connect over on Ramses, and Roger will come back to the top lane to try and stabilize things.
Roger's such a beast. He pops that healing salve and goes back in with the Riptide. It wasn't the engagement team he thought.
They're going again instead. They want to focus on the crit. Roger, he's alone, but then again, the path, they just can't move away. This is why they banned Witch Doctor in game 1. He's so effective in game 2. Samael standing his ground to try and fight up against Ramses. The Rolling Axes go again, but now it's Solar with a double kill. Misery looking for the revenge. Onto Ramses. One more attack will do it. Roger is low. Where's the extra TV support coming again? The problem is, actually, the death time is it's the cooldowns on the TPs. Now you bring in more. The Skyrim is already gone. Solo now claiming his 6th kill out of the 9 of Virtus Pro.
Well, we saw the opening with that MVP vote. Solo's making a good argument right now, being 6-1 and 3 in a Witch Doctor at 6.5 minutes in. He's been the beneficiary most of these team fights. He's just been kind of last one targeted. So going again, great positioning again.
Us once more, and of course there's the creep wave perfectly there to bounce it to. Samel taking so much damage. It's a level 2 Malding. Samel wants to be careful with the Axis flying forward. He connects onto Ramses, and he's the primary target. Trip will give him the life they require. That Solo, he'll give him the offering that's needed. All do that. Roger's back in the fight once more. So Solo will end up dying, but he got the paralyzing cast off, holding Crit in position. It's still a huge kill for Samel again. That was the killing spree that they were able to end. This top lane is just not letting up.
It's bananas.
Is that why Fear's now rotating in? Oh, Roger potentially trapped. Ramses is so low, but Fear, he's got the Exorcism available. He'll come in through the rear. Exorcism on. They want Ramses. The Crypt Swarm, does he want to commit it? He'll have to into the trees. Ramses ticking down. They need more damage, and it's coming in the form of the Viper. No one under the tower. Chris trying to keep Samel alive a little bit longer to find more and more space for Fear. The creep wave was soaking up a large amount of damage from the Exorcism, but at least Misery could get Solo over in the tree line. The heals are there from Pasha, and now Death Prophet, he almost wants his Exorcism to end so he can get a little bit more life back into him. He'll be Pasha to find Pasha. Solo went down to 33 HP.
Are fortified.
Going off on the top lane.
I was going to say, Toby, when you had this much fighting in one lane, eventually the cores are going to come in and try and offset things a little bit. And that's why EG, they're on the losing side of this. Their 3v3 was not going so hot, so they bring in Fear. But Virtus Pro, perfect to be able to match with their double TPs. Pasha coming in as well.
They're going again. Samel to be held in control. No one's coming up through the absence tree area. And Samel, does he want to do this? What is actually the Dire scanned? It knows the crit sitting behind him. While all this is going on, so VP brought everyone to top. Everyone had some kind of influence from Virtus Pro up on the top lane, but Arteezy had the bottom lane to free farm. He's now by far the top net worth. Even through the fights, he's 700 gold ahead. He's looking towards the Mask of Madness after Treads, Wand, and Aquila being up for him.
It's just kind of a wasted rotation. I think Arteezy has a pretty good read that they do have that aggressive laning ward. So if he makes that rotation and VP just back off, then you've just lost a lot of time for Luna farming up. So he just wants to continue to be the one soaking up all the farm while by that
for a fight of their own. Smoke up on the Io and the Skyrat. The left one observed ward behind him. That status all about Ramses. They come in with a concussive shot. He's got one shot available. Samel, here goes your roar. Can they bring him down before he can wall charge on Ramses? He'll get the wand off, but he doesn't have the life to survive. Not to get back to the tier 1 tower. Samel will claim this kill. But now BP do a rotation of their own. And Arteezy doing what HY's had a very long time ago. Stay in the trees. Never forget.
He's got a TP as well, so if he wants, he can just go mid. If he's really feeling the pressure, if they're going to go for some sort of dive somewhere else, that's a good what he does.
Yeah, let it go. Yeah, Fear's already taken the top tower with Samel and Crit, so they're fine with this. Oh, TPs are coming towards mid. It's Troll Warlord.
Oh man, he's got an early urn.
Under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Solo can actually threaten these cores solo when he has an Shadows charge.
Radiant's
it's amazing what happens when you get 7 kills in a game.
Radiant's bottom tower
like his net worth is okay. It's 700 behind the Death Prophet, but still, you should never have a Witch Doctor 700 gold behind your Death Prophet.
No one with this invis is looking for the control on Arteezy.
Fierce nearby though, can he actually help out? And now Exorcism, they try and create some space. Luna turns for one quick blast. The one shot just gave her enough life. That one more attack is not enough to tick. Actually, yes it is. Arteezy will tick out. Fear wants to keep getting a little bit more aggressive with Exorcism. No one now repelled up. There is a level of protection, but the purification and no one's never-ending damage. Was yet another kill. 2 cores down for EG, and that's the first real influence that Luna has had in the fight. It ended with her death.
Yeah, the sad thing was is that they actually took that tier 1 safe lane way ahead of VP, who were trying to do the same thing. And they thought to themselves, we're going to give up that tower in exchange for making a move somewhere else on the map. We're actually going to try and push out top and get this kill on mid. But Viper just proves to be too strong of a hero for EG to fight into. That's why I was a big fan of this Viper pickup, because I feel like it just kind of stems a lot of the aggression that EG want to be able to put out. Again, with their aggro dual lanes, with the way that they play with Fear, they're always going to try and create that base for Arteezy. So as long as you just have better fighters, EG's in a tough position a lot.
And EG don't want to bring in everybody. They need to fight with minimal resources. Samel's pushing out the top lane a little bit more. Roger's ready with the ensnare. If only Samel walked a little bit closer, but he will not. Brit still doesn't have his level 6. We still don't have this relocate 12 minutes in. If he's able to pick up both these runes, he'll be living very happy life.
So I think here, EG going to put a pause on some of the aggression. They really need to have that Yule Scepter for Fear's Death Prophet. That is one really big thing. Another one is Crit is not even level 6 yet. Nor does he have that burn that we're talking about earlier.
He needs the ability to jump out or get some mail out. Skyrim Mage gets picked off down to the bottom rune, and it'll be Crit to die up on the top, as well as potentially Samel. The level 1 Necrophil trying to go to work here for Samel, able to do a good job. So Roger will fall, Ramsey still on the run. Support's rotating in, a nice lucid beam. Solo, the Necrobooks are doing the work once again. Solo, one more attack will do it. The axes fly, and Samel will clip him. But can he get out of this one? TP not available for the Beastmaster just yet. So Samel will fall to Ramses. It's just non-stop death across the map. And Death Prophet's going to try and force this mid. While all that action's happening up on top, you got the Exorcism available. The tier 1 tower is nice and low. And Naga, okay, maybe you don't want to. Song of the Siren is up. They find a better target. Song of the Siren from Roger will start the reset. Spirit Siphon was keeping no one close, but now support once again. Solo will arrive. Here comes the paralyzing cast. Misery. The illusion's going to at least start taking this up, but it's already too late when Fear gets caught on the steps.
Opting not to go for the relocate save there. Crit could have gone for it. Decides to hold it. Maybe he feels like having that relocate on cooldown kind of kills some of the aggression that EG wanted to be able to put out.
Radiant structures are
that being said, great use of that first sleep, Roger.
Yep. Great way to turn around the gank from Evil Geniuses. VP is starting to get that advantage once again.
Oh, Misery. Got a little too close to the Viper. Fortunately, he did juke it through the trees and kind of without a vision. No one has been very careful to just not die in this game. He's been doing a great job of just being able to read the situation, understanding when the Death Prophet can really pressure him, and when he can just go all out in aggression.
Definitely helps being a Viper. I'm not certain how long this is going to work for Virtus Pro. Like, they group up so many heroes to try and take an objective, but every time they do that, the advantage they gain from the fights they're taking, it gets turned around. Like you're 10 kills ahead at the moment, but you're originally 1,500 in the gold, and you're about 3,000 in the experience. The Luna's getting so much off the bottom lane. On the way towards the Dragonlance, Hurricane Punch, Samel down into his level 2 Necro Book. Fear gets away from the Death Ward. They're trying to force the issue, but EG, it's like they're giving them enough of a hope that they can get the kill, but then just pull hope away.
Yeah, instead of like EG putting 4 heroes against the Viper push, which would just in the end kill their own farm, they're keeping their pressure up in the top lane, and that eventually will force no one to come back and defend that tier 2. They don't want to be trading tier 1 for tier 2s, especially with, as you were saying, Luna already has a bit of a farm lead on that troll. They continue to make favorable trades on EG, then Luna could get to a really big mid-game point where she takes over the game.
Yep. Easy troll like Ramsey's being forced back to the tier 1 tower to defend it. Misery's rotating over. No observer wards. They won't fight with any kind of extra vision advantage.
Samel a little play there. He actually denies his own melee Necronomicon.
That dire scan just pinged properly. This is what you see Ramses make a break for the
Dire's
east,
bottom
hug the wall
tower is
line.
under attack.
But Arteezy's okay with this. This almost helps Evil
Dire's
Geniuses because
bottom
now
tower
VP
has
believe there's
fallen.
large amounts of reinforcements on the side.
Radiant are scanning.
And that allows the space for the tier 1 tower to go down.
You see EG have made that adjustment mid-game here. The early group up and fighting went really poorly for them, so they're continuing just to keep the Necronomicon Beastmaster pressure up in the top lane and kind of keeping Death Prophet protecting mid at the same time. It's also a threat in a way because they have to put a core there, otherwise eventually Fear will just go for an action system push on that tower, and that's working out a lot better than trying to 4 or 5 man against VP's lineup with a troll.
Yep. So they're happy to accept the status quo. Ramses relocates coming in, down the Mystic Flare does enough damage to allow Arteezy to finish the job. They burn so
Radiant's
many
top
ultis
tower
on that.
is under
Roar,
attack.
Eclipse, plus the Mystic Flare and the relocate. Relocate's coming back up towards top. No one is waiting for the attack. And I think he doesn't want to force the issue too hard there, however.
And that's the point of also being able to keep that separation, right? Is that VP naturally have to respond core to core, right? Put somebody in front of the Death Prophet, put somebody in front of the Beastmaster. That just opens up relocate games.
Dire's bottom tower
Everyone's going to start
is under
pushing around
attack.
pretty soon. Hurricane Pike's on the way for the Viper. Actually have Arteezy to go for the Manta style. I thought he was actually queuing up the Dragonlance, but he's now got the Yasha instead.
Yeah, he probably feels like the split pushing power of the Manta and the increased farming capabilities is a little bit better for him than
Radiant's
taking up.
middle tower
That
is
kind of
under
says
attack.
to me that they want to continue to stay away from these tides, as they should, because
Radiant's
the
middle
Naga Siren is
tower
trying to go
has
for
fallen.
Meteor Hammer right now. That is like one of the penultimate team fight early game wins.
Arteezy's in trouble. The Ancients, he was trying to farm him up. TP support can come in. Misery's in the neighborhood as well. Able to close the distance, however, Virtus Pro.
And those kind of rotations for VP, or rather the failed rotation, being able to catch somebody, kind of sucks because it always means somebody has to go top lane. And that just ends up losing you a bit of farm often. Maybe opens up the window for another relocate game. Seconds. They are moving up with the Witch Doctor and Troll. So they're
Dire's
actually
top
keeping their
tower is
TPs
under attack.
as much as they can off cooldown.
It's actually kind of hilarious when this continues. That's a level 3 Necrobook coming in on the Courier. So even if VP want to fight into this, Sumail is a very formidable target. They need to bring a lot more people if they're going to kill him off. And then Arteezy just plays the elusive game.
Yeah, they need that kind of overwhelming gank, right? Otherwise, you try and half-ass it, 2 or 3 people. Sumail's going to end up killing 1 person in return, and you've just made a numbers rotation and still traded 1 for 1. That's the worst feeling in the world.
But what is the answer to this? Like, Virtus Pro don't really have the most global maneuverable lineup, apart from burning TP scrolls all the time.
It's a good question, because as you could just see, right, they TP up Pasha, then Evil Genius back out. They had to relocate as well as the Death Prophet sitting behind that Beastmaster, so...
It's like Boots of Travel are going to start to become like a better commodity, but none of these heroes really want to buy that. Like, Park's gone aggressive with the phase boots, the others are treads for the cause. The supports definitely aren't looking to do this type of stuff. Like, Roger's Illusion's the only thing which give them that ability to just force out the lanes a little bit further out.
Well, the Meteor Hammer does that for you as well, with a cooldown of 25 seconds and it dealing enough damage to single-handedly kill creep waves. I think Rogers picked up with this Meteor Hammer and his split pushing with both Illusions and that height will really help alleviate some of the across-the-map pressure that is currently coming out from Evil Genius. They're keeping all these lanes shoved in, and Virtus Pro, as you said, don't really have the cores to match it. I mean, just look at it, like
Dire's
Viper
middle
doesn't really
tower
do that
is under
for you.
attack.
Omni Knight is just kind of okay, but it's not really the
Dire's
way you want to
structures
use a
are
hero.
So the VP just forced the issue.
Radiant's
Get EG to
top
fight
tower
them.
is under
Because right now
attack.
they've got a half decent time for it. The tier 1 tower in mid is rather low. It is within deny range as well. The top lane, this is where the rest of VP have started to group up. Arteezy and Misery just having a good old time on the bottom lane. They may need to TP up to be involved in this.
This is a good
Radiant's
idea, right?
top
Because they
tower
keep
is
Viper
under
and Omni,
attack.
the majority of their team fight
Radiant
strength
structures
being the
are
aggressors
fortified.
and trying to take a tower. and then they keep their support Naga Siren, who's kind of the buffer against tower pushes, also creates a threat because he can at some point in time just song a Siren and go for a catch. If Death Prophet tries to challenge mid lane too much and he slept, then all of a sudden you're going to have mass TP rotations from VP. They kill a Death Prophet, then they take your mid tower. So I think that was a really cool little bit of strategy that Virtus.pro figured out here, and how to be able to finally get some objectives where they've just been completely shut out by EG when it comes to their split push.
It was a nice play by Crit. He was able to get the denial on the Tier 1 tower up on top and then tether away before VP could try and find a catch. And now Virtus.pro, they look for a bigger target. The Beastmaster Hawk scouts out the fact that it's happening, however, and they're going it right in for Roshan. Troll Warlord taking the Mosels +3 max verb the stacks to just rip apart Roshan. It's going so quick. Roshan is gone. Honestly, because it's not always difficult trying to catch those nuts. It's more how to beat Roshan. They set up with Song. You can actually set up on top of the loot and kill it really quickly before you gain really good damage. Same goes for Death Prophet. Once you have those BKBs, then you can contest because you have a natural camp reaction to once the Song is gone. BKB. He's gonna get the hell out of here right now. He doesn't have the Manta style charges available. No one chasing him into the tree. Well, the Siren is on the max range. You'll get it. And the relocate. Beastmasters come in. You've got Misery in the backline, making it difficult for Soul to get that power to transfer. But now the roll with the damage is coming fast from Virtus.pro. Running to the north, but only running towards his death. Misery and Fear bailing out. The perfect stop the Siren, catching what was meant to be an aggressive relocate roar, and seals a fantastic fight for Virtus.pro.
Ah, man, that was so cool. Roger managed to get the 3-man Meteor Hammer stun as well. Again, Toei, I told you that's like a team fight winner straight up. Combined with the fact that Evil Geniuses seem to not quite be on the same page there, because Arteezy was TPing out and they're relocating in at the same time. Yeah, right. If they just get Arteezy caught, then it's not that big of a deal. They did the relocate and trying to fight. Ends up getting caught in the Song. That makes it so much worse. Now VP not only have the Aegis, they also have the map control because they've managed to pick off two of the harder to deal with split pushers, and they're taking each to Virtus.pro now fully back in control of this game.
God, Ramsey is such a beast with that +300 attack speed. So let's watch this again. Arteezy into the trees, trying to hide it out. Here comes to relocate. So yeah, as you said, Arteezy going out. It was made a little bit easier of this fight for the fact that Misery kept the Witch Doctor under control.
I'm just surprised that Misery doesn't get caught as well.
He was lucky. There were bigger fish to fry for Virtus.pro. Arteezy. Oh, he just walked out underneath the observe board. No Manta style again. Roger, here comes the ensnare. Crit doesn't have relocate available. Instead, longer. And Crit just wants to keep him on. Taking enough damage, and now it's just Solo. Commit the ultimate, but it's Ramsey for the double kill. The top lane push has arrived for Evil Geniuses, but at this rate, VP can just go high ground.
Yeah, force them back, force them back. Evil Geniuses are trying to hit tier 2. Don't try to TP into it. Instead, try and force them back by pushing into the tier. So now we're going to keep going. They're looking for a trade-off. Fortifications available for the Dire side. It is not available for Evil Geniuses. You do not beat a troll in this push. Yeah, they really do not. That's why they just sit everywhere else. Luna fight back. Fear blinks into the middle of the fight. Starts with the X's of his Spirit Siphon. Trying to force them all away. Virtus.pro, but they just take it. Now defensive yours have to go to work. Misery so low, he doesn't even have the mana for the ultimate. And the Meteor Hammer just locks down Fear. He couldn't get away. Up on top, Smell has taken the tier 3 tower. Virtus.pro TPing up, trying to kill him up. The TP successful. Beastmaster per hit. And that means Virtus.pro are on the run without big cause. Arteezy, no! The Song! This is a real nightmare for him. The Song of the Siren will wear off in half a second time. Solo turning around. He's got the paralyzing cast. Maldex is available. Crit just needs to keep him alive. They need to try and find some metal into the front lines. Maybe they have the opportunity now to go over towards Solo. Keeping on his tail. Pasha nearby. He has purification available. He can give himself a little bit more life to survive. He can't help Solo. It looks like he can't even help himself. Running past the shrine. The Dire Courier goes down with the rest of the team. That was the first really big mistake that I've seen VP make in this game. The fact that they thought they could turn on RTZ, they already TP'd 2 of their cores back to base, and they also knew the Beastmaster got out alive, and they had to know there was going to be a Wisp behind the Luna. There's just no way they would have the damage to actually bring down the Luna, nor would they be able to escape since they've already used the song. That is pretty poor because VP were in such a great position. They made such a good choice being able to force that bottom lane, manage to take that melee Rax, which is a huge win for them. I only wish that they had just gotten away a little bit more scot-free and hadn't chose that last engagement where both Pasha as well as Solo died. Otherwise, they'd be up by a good 7 to 8K. They still have heroes on the map controlling these lanes that are currently pushing in as well.
Yeah, that swing up is actually quite sharp. Like the gold advantage on our screen says 5K. The graph is still waiting to catch up for the rest of it. But the swing up, the fact that Arteezy has enough time to continuously farm, the fact that the tower gold flooded in, and the fact that VP aren't keeping EG locked inside their base. Once again, Evil Genies are pushing out the side lanes. They're keeping the side pressure on VP, and Luna is quite adept at keeping the bottom lane also pressured out. Aegis Immortal time.
Blessings upon a loyal warrior.
And are they grouping up to actually try and take a top lane Rax? This GA is still down for 36 seconds, but it's the only, and Song of the Siren's down for 4. So GA is going to be the only thing missing during this push.
Yeah, Virtus Pro absolutely should want to take a fight right now. Once they see the BKB from the Luna and knowing that Eclipse is coming back up as well, I wonder how eager they're going to be to try and still fight.
Unlikely they will anyway. EG have backed out. Samel is back on the bottom lane pushing. Like the one thing the VP can take, which EG probably will not contest heavily, is the tier 2 tower on top. It's just a bad position for the Radiant to fight.
See, the thing is that EG wanted to be able to get their BKB.
After she had just died and they knew relocate was on cooldown, that was by far the coolest play that I've seen from this series, and it's a big reason why VP are so far ahead right now.
See, I'm not even certain, like I get you, like, where the Luna can't one-on-one with the Troll Warlord, but the high ground defense push is going to be so good for EG if they can hit the right target. You've got Rod of Atos on a Sky Wrath Mage combined with his ultimate. You've got a Beastmaster Roar with level 3 Necro books. The amount of times I've seen the Beastmaster just jump in and evaporate someone before they could reply, before they can get that BKB off. I feel like this is the biggest concern of Ramses. And the rest of the time, the Luna is just glaive pushing out the waves. Manta style, push him down, add the pressure, and then Beastmaster just blinks, TPs, and then goes to another lane. And he's even working on the Heaven's Halberd. If this BKB starts getting lower in duration for Ramses, even having the disarm is going to be a problem. Misery, well, problem, I think he's in trouble. In fact, I think he's dead. He just came on a warding mission. That was the reason.
Yeah, those happen. Yeah, honestly, he's probably like, he flew BKB charge. That's kind of worth it.
Yeah,
I'm okay with this.
It's kind of surprising you'd actually burn your 10-second BKB for this.
I mean, he got spooked. He thought that it was like a smoke gank. He thought it was like, oh, it's not just him. It's, you know, all these other heroes, and they're going to be on top of me. The worst thing that can happen to this troll is that he doesn't pop BKB. He gets Primal Roar, and then bursted down by the Eclipse. So he's going to be a bit trigger happy with that.
Roshan's up in about, well, he's actually up in 5 seconds time. Oh! We're looking the Song of the Siren. Fear needs the movement speed, the double 4-star. Roger won't catch him. That's a huge ability to burn as Roshan just spawned. That's their get out jail free card, Virtus Pro.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's entirely how they fight around Roshan. Evil Geniuses should immediately 5-man up, maybe go for the smoke, or maybe just go for straight for Rosh.
They know it's up. The Beastmaster is already scouted it. Samael's is ready.
We're going to go for a smoke, see if we can get a pick, and then translate into a Roshan, Aegis, and Cheese. This is a huge opportunity for Evil Geniuses to turn around this game. The narrative, I feel, is that Virtus Pro are very much in control and should be able to just kind of, like, slowly build.
VP know about this. Witch Doctor already went inside the pit. They know Roshan's alive, but then again, they're killing us so quickly. Ramses jumps out for the rune. Misery is just playing distraction. They don't get there in time. Aegis is onto Arteezy. VP, they're still going in to try and fight this one. The BKB is off cooldown for Ramses, but then again, he's roared. He never got it off. The Eclipse of the physical damage. It's huge for Arteezy. Standing the ground. Virtus Pro, they've lost 3, they've lost 4. And Roger still on the run. Arteezy wants to try and catch up to him, or maybe they don't. Maybe they just go straight up the mid on the back of the Exorcism. Fear, he's blinking forward. He's got a Yule Scepter. They relocate. They want them all dead, and they're going to get him. Potential denial from the Prowler. No, it won't. There it is. The Gem of True Sight is into the hands of EG as Virtus Pro are pushing up the daisies.
Oh, that was so big. Evil Geniuses. What happened there is the troll goes in, he's got Repel on him. So he's thinking, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be able to just I have this magic immunity, they can't really eclipse on me. He gets roared, and then through that, the Repel wears out. He takes a huge amount of eclipse damage, he's down to half HP, and then they can simply just focus him down.
Double buybacks here. Samael's got Necro Books up in 20 seconds time. That's why this push is taking a little bit longer. The tier 3 tower's gone. The ping comes out. They want the melee racks. A nice double silence. Arteezy is just tethered up, and these glaives are bouncing so hard. Solo, he can survive, but only thanks to the help of Pasha. EG, are they going to force more?
Oh, go two.
The Necro Books are back up in right now, in fact, and the Exorcism is down for a little bit, but it doesn't matter when Arteezy has the glaive bounce. If you want to come in close, you'll take so much damage. Regeneration, running low for crit, can't really help out Arteezy, but that's why he's got the Aegis of the Immortal. Song of the Siren is here as Luna just waits, and she actually ate the cheese, and it's in the wrong place at the wrong time on the wrong side of the battle. Io will die as well. He cannot save him, and it looks like Arteezy will die twice over. Nothing will prevent this. But at the same time, they just claimed 2 lanes of racks in favor of Evil Geniuses.
The way VP approached that fight with a Viper on the lower side, so they didn't have to worry about those bouncing glaives. That's why I call for EG to go for those second lanes, because it is so difficult, as you said, to fight into a Luna when the tier 3 is already down and you have those bouncing glaives out. It's like preemptive damage that you're just willingly walking through. But they played it around it pretty well, and the initiation of the song separating the Luna and forcing the rest of the Evil Geniuses back was a nice touch as well.
Oh, VP are coming down the mid. They want to see if they can force the buyback onto the Luna.
Yeah, this game just got so messy, Toby.
Yeah, it really did. The Song of the Siren is still on cooldown for another minute. I'm seeing an Eagle song also coming in on the Courier. It's Arteezy, knowing he was going to expend his buyback to defend this, boosting up the agility and making this push very hard for VP with the Rod of Atos. Catches no one. He wants to back out, and he does not want to burn the BKB.
I am a bit surprised that Virtus Pro were even close to the base. As soon as they heard that buyback, without Song, I think VP's had a bit of a disadvantage. They shouldn't really go for those high ground fights. Fight outside of the base, yes. Especially with Song of Siren up, I think they can make a really good setup for themselves, but otherwise, ooh, a really important pickup here. Samael getting the BKB, that could really help protect him when it comes to the Song of Siren, whether it is as initiation or as in reaction to the initiation. If he manages to blink in, gets Primal Roar off, they want to follow that up with mass BKBs, eclipses, and just run heroes over while the Song of Siren is inert against that magic
Let's
immunity.
watch that Roshan fight once more. Samael, he looks like he's in trouble, and then Arteezy just turns it on.
He took so much. It was actually the physical damage coming out from Exorcism. I thought it was going to be the
Eclipse, right?
Yeah, the Eclipse, but he actually just got swallowed up by Exorcism Ghosts and Arteezy's damage as well.
That's the dream situation for Evil Geniuses. So many players from Virtus Pro just isolated away from a creep wave. The Glaives do the max amount of work. The Exorcism Spirits do the maximum amount of work. And there's very little that VP can do against this. You've still got to look towards the GA. You're still got to look towards the repel timing for Pasha.
See, I thought, though, the way this is going to go, before that Roshan fight, all VP really had to do was just kind of play it slow, wait till they got the Lotus Orb and Aghanim Scepter on the Omni Knight, and that changes the fights heavily, right? Because they've got BKB and they can man up against the physical damage, and it's really tough for EG to be able to deal with the Troll at that point in time. But because the way the Roshan engagement went, there's no Aghanim Scepter from the Omni Knight, and this is a key time for EG.
Liquid Sphere's going to protect him, but then he gets forced up the hill! He goes right in the middle of the fight, the GA. Here's your protection. Song of the Siren is out, so BKB targets being isolated while VP fight underneath their shrine. Now Fear brings back in the Exorcism. The BKBs are gone for Virtus Pro, and so is their life. Arteezy, this Mana Styles out. They have all the damage in the world, and this could be it for Virtus Pro.
No buybacks, it's over.
4 heroes down, 5 heroes down. GG, we're going to a third.
What a crazy game, too. After that Roshan engagement, it just became anybody's game. Once you're forced into that high ground defense, and then in turn the Luna had to buy back as well, it just came down to one team fight pretty much. VP was definitely at a disadvantage without that Aghanim Scepter, and with the fact that I thought maybe that Song of Siren would change it for them. You saw the way that we had the BKB pop on Arteezy, they pop the Song of Siren, and it pretty much isolates our tour, right? He's the only target they can really go for, and Naga also hit a 2-man Meteor Hammer stun off of his Song. I was like, damn, that's going to be a great setup, but in the end, Arteezy's damage on a high ground with all those bouncing glaives just proved to be way too much for VP.
Yeah, they really brought in a great combination. Like, it was fantastic seeing both the magical and the physical come together. The Luna pick up as their 5th. You're wondering, like, what was really going to tie this EG lineup together? What gives them the lanes, but also what gives them the ability to control the tempo of this game? And I don't think they had it fully, but play Smoke and Mirrors, play the evasion game. I think Samael, like the panel was really praising him as being like a fantastic Beastmaster player. He was always forcing in the lanes, knew what the win condition was, and they both went for it. Both Arteezy and Samael, I think the combination of these two
After fairly even, to be honest. I think both teams could have definitely brought it, but I think this one, the decision making for me. As soon as they saw like Misery, this like whole sequence of where they get the rush. It's Misery goes into the enemy jungle. Sure, he dies, but it forces like a Ramsey, forces Ramsey to use BKB, and then Fear shows mid, and they use the Naga sleep. The sleep chases him, he survives, and then instantly, as soon as Misery respawns, Smoke go to Roche, and then they get that huge fight that we saw, and just after that, it seemed like they just were getting a lot of big items and came such back into this game.
Kevin,
it's really impressive.
Were you surprised by that Roche fight that Virtus.pro decided to fight into it after they'd gone?
A little bit, yeah. But EG did have very good high ground potential, especially with Luna and an IO backing him up, and a DP as well. They had like perfect heroes. I guess the DP ult was already used, but they could have actually just sat back for like 20 seconds. DP ulti's gone alone. So if they did want to take the fight, just wait. They didn't even have Song. Like, they didn't have their abilities. They still tried to force into it. It was probably a big mistake. But this last fight was the big one.
And easy for us, wasn't it, afterwards? You couldn't see it afterwards. Well, that's daft, but much easier for us to see it than them. Alan, 1-1. I think EG lived a little bit dangerously at times in that game, though.
Oh, big time. But I think the story, even before the big Roche fight, which is obviously the story of the game, a story for me is EG going back to that strat that's won them so many series against VP. They kept the pressure on, diving into that top lane. I mean, the camera's on that top lane for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes straight, and all of a sudden you look up and Artur's got a free farm Luna. He's got a Mask of Madness. This is clearing out their entire jungle. That was a huge moment where VP looked up and they're like, wait a minute. We don't have a late game lineup. That's why that Roche fight, it was kind of a lose-lose for them. They're hesitating. They're sitting there going, I don't know if we want to wait out this Aegis.
Yeah, a tricky decision, isn't it? Because as Kevin pointed out, they did have that good high ground push as well. They didn't want to fight up there. They'd rather fight in the middle of the map, I guess, at that point.
Yeah, and their tri lane looked like it went really well. I actually thought that they were winning the early game. They were winning it, but it wasn't overwhelming.
Right.
Just because Troll was spending so much time running around helping with those kills, and they all went well. But by the end of the day, he wasn't hitting very many creeps, and Luna was.
And Beastmaster, even after all of it, it's like, you know, they were kind of winning lane, but Beastmaster was still top of that net worth, even though he had like 3 or 4 deaths in the game at the start. I mean, he still was just causing that pressure.
Isn't that typical Samael? How many times have we seen that when he played in the mid lane as well? Just 5 deaths by 5 minutes on a storm or something, and then come straight back into it. He's used to that kind of game, isn't he?
His Beastmaster especially. He knows how to push the limits of it and just kind of feed away a little bit, but he does his job. He's putting the pressure on, and he makes the hero look incredibly good with that IO.
Do you think by doing what he did in that game, he created that space for Arteezy?
Absolutely. I think they gave up a couple deaths that were, I guess you could say, a little questionable, like Fear dying a couple times early on, but it was all space. It was all in space for that Luna.
Yeah, they basically won the laning stage. I don't necessarily think Sumail did tons of things later game, but the early game pressure to make Luna have a better game than the Troll was good because he had better farm, he's backed up by an IO, and then it just kind of came down to like movement, execution kind of stuff.
Performance by one of the players in that one, well, it's up to you because you can vote for the MVP right now by heading over to the website on the screen right now and vote for your Mercedes-Benz MVP. Plenty of big names in that pot right now. Put your marker on it, if you will. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Game 3 will be here. Evil Geniuses versus Virtus Pro for a place in the semi-final.
Right now, he doesn't have the Mana Style charges available. No one chasing him into the tree line.
Oh, the
Song and the Siren is on the max range. You'll get him. And the relocate. Beastmasters come in. You've got Misery in the back line, making it difficult for Sol to get that paralyzing can't stop. But now the Roar. But the damage is coming thick and fast from Virtus Pro. Sumail running to the north, but only running towards his death. Misery and Fear bailing out. The perfect...
I want to get in there.
Wow, I'm actually dead.
You dead? Yeah, I'm dead.
Never, dude.
Dude, look at that macro pyre, dude. Oh my god.
Game, record, and stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Life is all about following a few simple rules. Dress proper. Get a real job. Start a family. Be humble. Time to grow up.
Ultimately, this trip could bring my career to the next level.
I'm not very worried about losing. I'm worried about missed opportunities.
I just scream and say yes twice.
You try your best, you feel good about yourself.
So what's really going to separate them is decision making and strategizing.
Laura, you found my secret. Our world is in danger. You must stop them.
It'll be an adventure.
Some men like dangerous women.
You shouldn't have come here, but I'm glad that you did.
You messed with the wrong family.
Tomb Raider. You can't be too careful these days. The world has gone bloody mad.
I'll take two.
Only in cinemas.
ESL 1 Katowice is brought to you in part by Intel, Mercedes-Benz, Vodafone, Alienware, PaySafeCard, Logitech G, and Hacks.
I think a hero that I'm sad I can't play because of my role is probably Ember Spirit. I enjoy the hero a lot.
I think it's Zeus, because I like to play Zeus, but I'm playing position 5, so I don't think Zeus on position 5 is good in this meta.
I would love to play Mirana and Enigma again, but those heroes are just questionable right now.
I mean, I guess Shadowfiend. That hero is never going to be my hero, unfortunately, but that hero is very fun to play, so yeah.
I would like to play Ember Spirit and Shadowfiend, but the both heroes are... I can probably play them both, but they're not easy to pick right now.
Like Storm Spirit, Ember Spirit, like I just like these like flashy heroes that you have like the potential to do crazy things, but unfortunately I'm just a support, so another time.
Tinker and Naga. I just love those heroes. They're really micro-intensive. It's just really fun to play for me.
I would love to play Leshrac because I'm a really big fan of that hero, and he's currently a mid hero, but I play offlane.
I would love to play Pudge. It might fit my role, but I think I'm just too bad at it.
Pudge. It's a lot of fun hero for me, and I played a lot of games in pub.
Viper? Yeah, I'd like to play Viper, but it's not really my role. It's the heroes. I'm usually the farmer in the team. Like I farm a lot, and I'm usually alone. Viper is like he needs to stay with the team and do stuff. He's like very slow as well. I hate slow heroes. It doesn't really fit my role.
Death Prophet. I am the best Death Prophet in the world, but I can't show it. It's so sad for me.
Welcome back to ESL 1 Katowice. I'm still smiling after that one. Plenty of alternative options for players. How about a position 5 Zeus or maybe a support SF? I don't know. Some crazy ideas in there, but they're the players that like the heroes that can't play them in particular. I also like S4's idea of a Leshrac offlane. Not really. Anyway, we've also got our Play Faster by Vodafone moment coming up a little later on. I wonder what will make that moment a fast play. It could be an Aegis steal, it could be First Blood, or it could be something sensational like yesterday's demolition by EG, an under 18-minute win. If you can't play faster than that, then you're not getting into Play Faster by Vodafone today. Simple as that. So there's a challenge. Set down to the teams. We're about ready to head into game number 3 right now. The draft is almost upon us. We're back with our panel members to get their thoughts as we head into that. But let's ask them about their alternative heroes as well. Fogged.
How come nobody just likes playing their role? Right?
Support life forever, bro.
Support life. I mean, I would also just say like Invoker or some mid hero.
A 5 Invoker.
I used to play the Invoker mid.
No, but if you can play it now.
I've tried the roaming Invoker.
Guys, I've got this great idea. I've got this great idea. 5 Invoker. It's got to work.
Don't do it. You may think it. You know, we've tried. It's like, all right, guys, we're gonna pick Axe and we're gonna pick Invoker and Battle Hunger, Cold Snap. No, don't. It's just no. It's really awful.
What else was in there, Alan, that tickled you?
Oh, no, I'm still thinking about Fogs coming. I used to have like a 60% win rate on Invoker, and then I tried to make offline Invoker work. It does not work. At least not for me.
I think I've seen it work a couple times. It is very hard though. It's not the role.
I couldn't do it.
If there's anyone that can theory craft a hero into a lane that doesn't exist, it's the man in the middle right now. Kevin, hit us.
I don't know. Support Elk is on my up and up. I don't think it's the same level as a regular support right now, but the amount you get from bounty runes is crazy. If you're winning, you can just grab 2 bounty runes and it's like 1,000 gold.
Do you get the bonus for the first one now?
Yes.
You still do.
But you're not gonna get Greevil's Greed level 1. You want the stun, right?
I mean, of course.
So kind of works, but it's not quite there yet. But soon.
I mean, I'm still on the Windrunner 5, but No one believes in me.
But it does seem like
hey, I actually do have
the
one.
Alchemist.
I do have one supporter of this theory. Mad.
Yeah.
OG's coach says five win runner is a thing.
I
think he might just be humouring me at this point, but then, nevertheless, let's get into picks and bans. Draft's not too far away. In fact, it's on your screen right now. Alan, where are we going? Game 3.
One thing I wanted to flag really quickly was our tour actually did 4K damage with an Eclipse at the very end. That was really cool. So Crit's Wisp got the 15 Ag Scepter talent from the Roche fight.
Yep.
They won that area of the map where they won the last fight. It's actually the hardest place on the map for Radiant to win a fight, and they just went up with Wisp and Luna. Level 3 Eclipse, boom, wiped everybody out.
Combination of both the IO overcharge, keeping the Luna alive, and then getting the whole Eclipse off. Yeah, it was remarkable.
It was so cool. Sorry about that, but let's get into the draft here because VP are going to go that first pick Naga from the last game. I thought they used it rather well. We saw the huge Meteor Hammer combination on the bottom lane with the relocate in by EG just getting punished. But EG, Fog, you brought this hero up.
Yes.
And look at that, straight away, ETDK.
They also banned the IO this time around, so they are giving it a bit more respect.
This happened yesterday in Game 2, right? They just decided suddenly to start picking all of the above 70% win rate heroes at ESL 1.
Yeah.
And ban the other ones they didn't want.
I mean, you got
They've done exactly the same thing.
They also, this time they left the Terrorblade out in the pool, so I think that's why they opened up with the Elder Titan, just to be like, okay, we've got this hero that's going to be very good versus TB throughout all stages of the game. We'll leave it open for you guys this time.
And a lot of people even had success just laning Elder Titan versus TB in lane and still killing him. It was definitely a good way to shut him down a bit. But with the Dragon Knight, they're pretty much covered in lanes. Not as good as if they had a Razor, but they've got a frontline tank. They can put him in multiple lanes and they'll have good stuns like him.
The combo.
Yeah, individually strong heroes against the classic combo that we've seen in the last couple of months.
So one thing I felt like VP was missing in late game last game. They played amazing with Witch Doctor in the early game. It absolutely stomped. Solo did amazing, but when they got to late game, Witch Doctor's not as good. Your stuns aren't as reliable. You can drop your ulti, but it's maybe not the most valuable thing, and Maledict is often countered just by a BKB. So this game, at least, they can rely on better late game closing kind of moves.
Similar that gets countered by BKB, though, but that's going to be most supports.
Yep. One thing I want to flag for Evil Geniuses is the potential of the Puck pick as a third pickup for Sumail here. That Puck Elder Titan safe lane last night was just so impressive to me.
VP could ban it though. They did last game, I believe, or 2 games ago. Can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was game 1 that they banned the Beastmaster and or they banned 2 Sumail heroes second phase.
What's the weakness of VP's 2 supports right now? Because they're obviously locked into support duo.
It's very about the combo. I think it's you get these 2 BKB cores on EG in order to withstand versus the Disruptor.
So it's like ulti reliant basically, like outside of ultimates. I mean, not that Naga net isn't an incredible skill, but yeah, they're a little limited, especially if they're under leveled. Their ganking prowess, if they have like a bad laning stage and get 6s late, they'd be in a really tough spot too.
Yeah.
They do still ban Enchantress, just waited till second phase. Protects their carry a little bit, whoever it will be.
They could still run the Dragon Knight anywhere. That's the beauty too. So if they do want to put DK safe lane, they don't have to worry about an Enchantress just ruining that lane.
Yeah, that's what EG has gone to mostly with the DK, is putting fear in that on that DK in the solo lane matchup. Very difficult to punish. I mean, you saw they sort of were thinking in that direction with the Ursa in game 1, but felt like they had to keep the second support up there.
I mean, are they gonna? Okay.
Man, yeah, all offlane hero bans in the second phase.
Is that our Beastmaster, right? Beastmaster made it through, so that's gonna be a little scary for him. They'll go for Bane instead, though.
Picking the 70% win rate heroes, like you were mentioning.
You know, that's exactly
like I said,
right.
it's exactly what they did one of the games against Nuvi yesterday. They banned out 2 of the 70% plus win rate heroes, and they picked 3 of them.
I just have a lot of confidence in EG's dual lanes right now. Both of those supports are so flexible and strong.
Good to combo off each other as well. Sleep and ET can get easy stomps.
Plus, like Dragon Knight mid game, if he's in there being aggressive, both Bane and Elder Titan can hang a little back and follow up on how he gets initiated on or who he initiates on.
Okay. So the no one Death Prophet picks here by VP. Yep. And again, the Terrorblade just has such protection against the physical damage from the Exorcism.
They're excited about that one.
There's the
This
TV.
is-
okay.
what is the-
So this is pretty much the same draft they had
The
yesterday,
Nubi, right?
except for the Razor against
Yeah.
Nubi. Yeah,
Right.
the
Yeah.
Razor was banned out, obviously, so they took the DK instead. That's the only difference. And that one, they did play the puck, which they can't play here. So
And
we are looking for a different offlaner. But
Well,
in the other game, they had Enigma.
Tinker's certainly good against TB. Once he gets like Ags, but
It's a bit awkward now, right? Though they have DP and Tinker on the same team.
Exactly.
that's true.
Well, DP has been run, to be fair, DP has been run more frequently as a safe laner in the recent past than she has historically. So it's not sort of a hard problem.
It's just dangerous because she definitely needs levels, and if she has a tough time in lane, or there's a lot of fighting, if she dies first and it doesn't get 6s fast, then her actual ulti rotations will be way weaker. It's definitely a big danger. And I don't think her armor is that great, is it? So getting hit a lot isn't always going to go good.
And they already have 2 heroes with super high natural armor. Dragon Knight and Terrorblade versus Exorcism.
Yeah. I mean, even her contributing to a tri-lane, like, what's she going to do? Cast Spirit Siphon once and then be like, guys, we'll fight in 55 seconds when I get another Spirit Siphon. Like, she's so limited as a safe lane. I feel like it has to be Tinker, maybe? Depends on, I guess, what the matchups are, but it's not a good place for VP to be, for sure.
No, but I do feel like Paul is onto something, just pointing out the strength of the individual EG heroes. When I talked to Bobo shortly after he joined this team, he was talking about, look, we feel like we have hugely high individual skill players. You take these players, you put them on strong heroes, good things are going to happen.
Yeah. It's a very simplistic way of looking at it, but with a new lineup and players in different lanes, it's a good plan, isn't it? Worked for them here so far.
I mean, you look at this right now, we know relatively little about EG's lanes.
Yeah.
Like, this Dragon Knight could go anywhere.
Yeah.
Fog, you gave me the look there.
More than likely, they're looking for Sumail's hero.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
They pretty much always pick it fifth anyway.
True.
I'm just
No,
wondering.
but I mean, which hero plays in which lane? Are you convinced that the DK is going to be safe lane?
I think he's going to be mid.
It's going to be an
Mid,
RTZ
okay.
Terrorblade, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
So the ban Sven.
Misery Bane.
Sven pretty good against TB illusions, cleave him up.
5 seconds remaining.
I feel like that would take too much farm, maybe, but it would be good against TB. Maybe they're banning all the TB solutions.
A bit of head scratching going on in there.
They took the Elder Titan, and they did ban out most of the heroes that are good versus it, so yeah.
They're fist bumping a lot during this draft. It is not over yet. They must be real confident.
EG's very happy with these hero picks, though. They banned the Brood even.
Okay. I don't think this was a Brood game, but...
Well, it definitely wasn't for VP, because they're looking for Pasha's hero here for sure.
Even Fear was smiling there. That's not good for VP.
What do you think? They go back to a Pasha Sand King?
5 seconds remaining.
I'm concerned if later as the game goes, if they do that, they don't have some true carry that can actually take the game later. It's pretty much all relying on this Tinker being able to withstand versus Terrorblade.
Other possibilities. They have brought back the Pasha Darkseer in the recent past. Brewmaster as well, still on the table.
With that wonderful 8.3% win rate.
Oh God, 1 in 12. Yikes.
Crazy.
This feels like one of those moments where someone will just pick Pugna and throw their hands up in the air. Be like, well, maybe this
It's
will
true,
work.
the burst damage. I mean, that's legit actually. That's totally legit.
I'm not sure. I don't have much confidence, and I feel like something like that's lost a lot.
Also worth mentioning, he has run an off-lane Shadow Demon. That would be the first Shadow Demon pick here at the tournament.
That's a no. There's no way.
You don't think so?
No.
Shut down.
All right.
I like that. That's okay.
Single target.
All right, Doomed.
Interesting
Where we go?
Terrorblade.
Last one for EG, which we presume is a Sumail hero.
And goodness.
Can't be a puck.
After
Could
all
be an
this-
Enigma.
After all this, is the Beastmaster still on the table?
I think so.
It is.
I mean,
why wouldn't you?
do you just keep it simple?
5 seconds remaining.
Sumail says, whatever. Give me whatever. I don't
There
care.
it is, Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just playing it safe.
I mean, this
Why
is
not?
EG saying, come at us. We're going to pick 5 heroes that we are capable of playing at an elite level, probably top 5 in the world on all 5. Go beat us.
VP has no armor. I feel like Beastmaster is going to be really strong here, and he's backed up by 2 great supports that are also very good at early fighting. Their other solo matchups are very survivable, like high armor.
And they've got good push now with the Beastmaster, and they've got ways to find the Tinker.
And they have normal lanes, whereas VP has to do either a Tinker safe lane or a Death Prophet. Like, it's just not going to add up, I don't think.
All right, okay, very quickly, in 2 letters, VP or EG?
EG.
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 All right. Okay, they're pretty decisive here. Let's find out whether our commentary team are decisive. Boys, are you ready for this game 3? You hyped enough?
I'm hyped enough, but I'm willing to go against the,
Are
obviously
you?
the NA bias.
Right.
Clear NA bias.
Clear NA bias.
It's disgusting.
Absolutely right. Never catch you doing any of that, Cat.
Absolutely not. Excuse me. I was actually just answering some fans, and they asked me who they thought was going to win Game 3, and I actually thought that VP, I thought they were making the better, like, really cool strategical plays, and I'm going to kind of side with that here. Draft makes it more difficult, though.
Yeah, the draft is one of these fun things. Like, you see the Tinker being picked up by Virtus Pro, you're like, okay, how can you actually deal with this? How does no one get controlled? And that was going to be the 3rd pickup. The Beastmaster was the choice by EG.
Yeah, this is going to be similar to the way that Fnatic, they actually had a very similar lineup up against this, where they had the kind of aggression where they could just go win the laning phase, start taking some of those outer towers. They're going to turn the Beastmaster into kind of a hunting hero for the Tinker. Dragonite can also do that with a Blink Dagger or a Shadow Blade. He can also kind of do that, but they're also going to be able to have the brute force and just taking towers and limiting map control. So winning lanes, really big for EG, and translating that into some good map control. Very similar to the way that Liquid versus OG ran. You were actually saying in the draft, they don't have a whole lot of catch for this Tinker, right?
Yeah.
Liquid OG, Game 2, they actually ran something where they didn't have a whole lot of catch. There was where they had the Furion with the Meteor Hammer. And what they did is they just won the lane so hard and limited map control so much that Tinker could only have a small area to farm when it came to the jungle, and everyone else on the side of OG couldn't get anything.
So what makes the 5th ban on Brood just such a great choice as well. So lanes come out. It's going to be quite an aggressive posture here from Virtus Pro to take 3 of the bounty runes, of the early buffed up runes.
That always feels good.
It'll be, I'm interested to see how Death Prophet deals with this lane. Like, we've seen ETs just try and change lanes around. Beastmaster, Samel's been so effective in that in game number 2. Game number 3, how does a Death Prophet and Disruptor stack up against an ET Beast?
Well, I thought the Troll was going to be able to do all right, and to be fair, their tri-lane did end up winning. I think the Death Prophet is also a pretty good answer to Beastmaster. He tries to, kind of run at you with the axes. You go ahead and Spirit Siphon him. The difference is the Spirit Siphon actually has a bit of a low cooldown, and Samel is going to be playing off of axes a lot of the time, so they're going to be able to get a lot of harassment. And they also have this Elder Titan, which Crit has shown time and time again is just a lane dominator.
Yeah. He's also a hero that's going to work really well once Misery starts his rotations on that Bane. A very simple setup with the Nightmare as always. This mid lane's also going to be a bit of a fun battle. It's more magical burst to get the last hits as no one can control the timing of Fear's attacks thanks to laser.
Couple things here. You want to make sure that there's no opportunity for Virtus Pro to be able to get any pulling action, and at the same time, Crit wants to be able to stack up that hard camp and start getting those really big spirit stacks.
And they're really getting aggressive onto Arteezy. Infernal Blade, Riptide just making the most of it when his Metamorphosis was running out.
Yeah, now that Metamorphosis is down, this Doom is going to be a whole lot better at challenging this Terrorblade. We've seen the Doom cores go for this early Infernal Blade at level 1, just bypassing Devour after all the creeps don't spawn until a minute anyway. So you want to maximize that harassment potential onto the carry, and Arteezy's certainly running low on regen already.
Yeah. Top lane, there's your wall down, the Crit, getting the Stomp off. They're just trying to interrupt Solo, who pulled the dire creep wave down to the Centaurs. So not really having the greatest position, but the fact that he got stomped up by one of the Centaurs. That definitely wasn't part of his original plan.
Anytime you're running an aggro dual lane, if you don't feel like you can really win it by force, just do hard camp pull. And as long as you have a way to protect against that support stopping the pull, then it's a clear win for you.
And there's going to be a fun little battle to find out who actually gets the first blood in this. Because you got so much magical pop in the mid lane. And I'm thinking it from Fear's side, not even no one's side. Like, no one's getting up in the face of Fear, standing on the high ground, battling underneath the tier 1 tower if he needs to. A quick stun, a quick high level in the breathe fire, because the DK could just start spamming this. Soul Ring, the extra points. Trouble right now for Misery. They're trying to body block him up. Arteezy will start the reflection as Misery continues to burn as he walks back to the tower. A very difficult hero to kill off the Bane. 7 armor on him, plus that brain sap ability.
Yeah, if you're looking out for first blood, for me, it's definitely the side lanes. Either Evil Genius is going to die from the Doom Naga Siren because it is such a potent duo against them, or we're going to have this big clash at top lane where a kill can go either way, to be honest. If Crit gets enough Spirit stacks and just starts laying that single target damage into a Death Prophet, Spirit Siphon may not be enough to save him.
So we just have a return of game 2 where it was like Captain Blood on the top lane.
Well, that's what I hope for anyway. Made it fun to watch.
It will make it fun to watch. Oh, Arteezy really getting up in the face of Pasha and Roger. A little bit too far up. He's got no TP support. The Bane went all the way back to base, still regenerating before he starts his TP. Arteezy, body blocked up. Here comes your TP in now. And he'll look to turn. But they don't really have the easiest target. Pasha, okay, Metamorphosis up and running. Pasha makes a break for the tree line. As they keep the retreat on. Nightmare just trying to get Arteezy into a better position to attack, but the Riptide, it does so much damage. Arteezy's low, 6-1 charges are available. He'll burn them all. Pasha looking for the damage, but it's Roger who gets the first blood, and Pasha wants to keep the pressure up. Misery is forced to retreat, and it really seemed like, I don't know if that was a bait from Arteezy, dropping down low to force the fight, but it worked out the way of Virtus Pro.
Very well played by Pasha. First of all, getting the level 2 in Scorched Earth rather than the extra damage from Infernal Blade was big there for him surviving, and also the way he kited Arteezy was fantastic.
They're going top. Spirit Siphon onto Sumail. He'll turn around and try and fight with the help of Crit. Sumail has 11-1 charges, so he'll have more mana, so he can throw the axe out, cut the trees out, so Solo, no juking available for him, but Ramsey's so much damage. Sumail will go down and Crit. He'll Spirit to pick up Solo on the edge of the kinetic field.
Hey, that's okay for VP. If you're looking at it and we're just trading supports or actually killing a Beastmaster, you're very happy because you are, as long as you're doing okay in this lane, you know you're winning bottom lane, and Tinker is not doing poorly in mid. So in a way, you're kind of winning like 2 lanes.
They can keep it up. They'll love it. Quick bottle refresh. No one's back to fighting in the mid. Arteezy needs a little bit more space. I wonder how that gets created. Like, Fear is about to crack level 6, so when Dragon Form comes up, he can start to move or potentially just harass the mid lane. A little bit more difficult going against no one, who's also going to hit 6. The top lane rotation, Solo comes from behind, puts the wall down. Sumail's the primary target of Ramses. He does not want to let this Beastmaster have a good game, but Crit will put them to sleep. Oh wait, Solo's got Glimpse! He actually has the level 1 Glimpse, he got the range for it! They'll end up being a 1-1 trade-off. Maybe Crit can kill off Ramses. Of course he can! It's a bloody ET! Thank you, OS Frog, as it goes 3-3 on the board.
A little thing there, Crit reuses the Spirit and pulls it back to be able to keep up the Spirit damage here already built up from the last Spirit usage. Small little play, but is really what made sure that he had the extra damage and speed to be able to catch up with that Death Prophet.
And that's a good turn of events up on the top lane, at least for the fact that Crit's going to be more of a powerhouse. Not so great for the fact that Sumail is still falling behind as far as his item progression goes. Wonderful scan from VP. That's a double damage Bane that no one is currently hiding from in the mid lane. And the scan just sees everything.
Arteezy.
Oh boy. Knowing the Bane is there, Roger and Pasha, they knew they could start fighting. Still a couple of 1 charges available. One more hit, they'll go underneath the tower. Arteezy doesn't have the distance. The 2 poised up in Scorched Earth. Not a lot of man to work with either. And now top lane, Death Prophet triggers off the exorcism. Sumail just had to run back out. This Crit won't be so lucky. 10 stick charges. He'll go up into the trees. No TP scroll on him, so he'll just keep running north. They need the vision. And Solo, Kinetic Field will give him exactly that. Crit has to stand his ground, and he knows he's dead.
Oh, they're actually running into Misery here in the bottom lane. They do have that Infernal Blade, so they can run him down.
Yep, the Misery's still hard to kill. The Shrine is nearby if he wants to try and burn this, and he's thinking about it. Is he really worth it? The body block from Pasha and the illusions of Naga. Misery couldn't even make it to the Shrine.
Back over to top lane, Sumail actually getting dope behind that tower. The Exorcism out, but as it wears out, Ramses gives up on the chase.
VP. It feels like they're playing the same type of tempo that I'm used to watching when Team Liquid plays. Does that real aggression, solid in the laning phase, willing to dive if required. And this Terrorblade has not been dictating anything on the bottom because they're going again. The Nightmare is out. They try and break it free. Arteezy still on the run again. More TP support is on the way. It's the Dragon Knight who ends up canceling his TP. Fear on the back of the Dragonform was looking to actually achieve something on this bot lane.
Really good call by no one. He's the one who saw the Dragon Knight and said, hey, back out from that bottom lane. Fear is looking to be able to TP in. And that may have actually, that bit of communication may have actually saved somebody's life on the side of VP.
Yep, and wastes the end of that Dragonform. I think Fear's looking for one more attack onto the mid tower, which he'll be able to get for a little bit of corrosive attack.
I want to give a shout out to Pasha. He just switched it up, but early on, he actually had the mana burn from the medium Satyr. And that was really effective at being able to limit the Bane. He actually just kept on burning out the Bane, who is very mana dependent, has a relatively low mana pool as well.
Oh, Nightmare. Crit's going to follow up with a stop. There's no friends around. Arteezy just wants this kill and to push even harder. And Pasha, well, okay, life is there. The Centaur's coming in from the side. Crit, where's the damage? One more attack will not be enough. Pasha is still regenerating through this, and the movement speed, thanks to the phase boots, it's so fast. He just keeps running. Fear's coming in, looking for the breathe fire damage. The Spirit is up, and Crit will get the kill on Pasha. Support, it did rotate in, so now it's Misery onto Roger, and with the extra assistance of Ramses, Misery is dead on the wrong side of the tracks. He cannot outrun this.
That felt a little silly. Him popping the Soul Ring there. As a result, the Spirit just insta-kills him. Whereas I think otherwise he would have survived. Oh, top lane, they're just going to go for it. Straight up War Stomp on top of the Beastmaster.
Arteezy's here, however, ready to fight the damage into the Doombringer. A glimpse pulls him back to the tier 1 town, but Samel still gets the work done. May even be happy with that. He got Solo experience. He's looking for the level 4 axis to connect onto Solo. Solo goes up and dodges. He saw that coming from a mile away. Then Ramses can push this bottom lane now. Exorcism is up, and everyone is in fact up as well from EG on the northern side of the map.
And that's okay. Evil geniuses will happily trade off this tower if it means that they're going to be able to take mid tower, which Fear is currently trying to do with his Elder Dragon form, and they also will try and take that top lane tower.
Yeah, that's actually some really good trade damage when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because you're doing this as well after Metamorphosis was already burned from Arteezy.
I think the question is where... Oh, Ramses doesn't actually have a TP. I was going to say they could probably still defend that safe lane tower, and it looks like they are going to try and mount some pressure here.
He can TP in 3 seconds time. The Doom is out. It's over on the Terrorblade. Glimpse back into the fight. This is really problematic for Arteezy. No way to really get out of it either. Even with a great stomp from Crit catching 3 heroes, it will allow Samael to retreat. And that is all.
Good response. It's always dangerous to try and push those towers against the Disruptor. Especially since you do have that kind of clear win in a team fight with the Dude being used. Only thing you could do is just run away, but Disruptor will always counter that. So it's actually kind of a cool core support combination here.
It's also one of those heroes you've got to give a lot of credit to Virtus Pro with. Solo is an absolute beast on that Disruptor, and he's going to look for more. Fear well out of position, and he can get glimpsed or just walled up. They'll happily fight underneath the tower. Roger can tank it up. Crit, here comes your Spirit into the stomp. They're going to glimpse him all the way back, but he's still got the sleep off, and that bought space for Fear to retreat and allow those 3 points of Dragon Blood to continue to protect him.
Because they gave up their safe lane tower, it's one of the really nice things. You lose your tower early, the lane starts pushing in, you feel a lot more comfortable farming that. And that's where Arteezy's finally going to get some recovery, because right now, he really needs it. He's sitting right in the middle of the network chart.
Yeah, he needs to bounce that up very, very quickly. At least their upside is the fact that the primary pusher and the primary initiator, Fear, is getting towards the Shadow Blade. He is moving up in the levels. Now having that plus 30 attack speed over the mana regeneration, easy for him. And because Samael's primary task is hunting that Tinker.
Yeah, he's working towards that Necronomicon. I'd be interested to see if he actually gets Necro Book 1 and then Blink Dagger, or if he still fully commits to a Necro 3. I think that's one of the small deviations you can make in this build.
That'd be probably the question, right? Like, do you believe you can have the push? Is it all about the team fights or about the quick pick-off, which the level 1 will allow you to do with the Blink Dagger? Fear, glimpse, ain't gonna happen. Already used, level 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they thought they were gonna be able to do there with just those 3 heroes. Dragon Knight is far too tanky to die easily to that kind of rotation.
Top tier 1 tower has finally fallen. So how hard do VP commit for this? Like, do they push down to bottom? Do they actually leave? Like, can Pasha stand toe-to-toe with Arteezy? Okay, he's not toe-to-toe. He has the Tinker. The Doom God off before Arteezy can follow in. And with the Hoof Stomp, there's no way to run away. In fact, just walks around to attack Pasha once. do some level of damage. Meanwhile, up on top, Samel gets the Roar. The ET splitter will make it hard for Solo to get away, but the Song of the Siren, potential reset. DK is right around the corner, and he'll attack in, killing off Solo with the Dragon Tail stun. Naga won't do much more, but with Ramses burning the Exorcism, EG will pop the Shrine and then actually waste it. Ramses didn't even commit after burning that.
So this is the adjustment that I think VP is trying to make due to the Beastmaster and what happened when the game slowed down. He was always pressuring top. They're trying to set him off early, and they went for a smoke gate. But the problem was they didn't get it immediately, and then they tried to just force it.
Does he have the damage for this? He needs a little bit more help. Samel's coming in. He's got the level 1 Necrobooks ready to go. They're going to focus on the Death Prophet. That Exorcism is about to wear out. He's about to get a lot more life back into him. Yep, here come the spirits. Samel still wants to fight. The Necrobooks are down. It's a good silence, but here comes Tinker as well. Everyone's arriving. The Storm from Crit, not effective because Ramses dodged it with the Yule Scepter. Dragon Knight will get ensnared and brought down. Beastmaster is about to join him. The Glimpse, Dragon Crit back. Beastmaster's TP will be successful, and now Crit will attempt the same thing. There's no cancellation. The Yule Scepter's not there. DK will be the only one to die for EG.
Little bit difficult when there's so many things going on in a team fight, but unfortunately, that glimpse really needed to be used there to catch the Samel. After all, he is one of the more important heroes.
Get to the trees, Misery. Out of range of no one, the Nightmare Pasha can't see anything.
Oh, this is interesting. Crimson Guard build from Pasha, so he's really going to make himself a lot tankier. That's going to help the Death Prophet as well against all of his damage, especially the minion damage from Samel when it comes to his Call of the Wild as well as his Necronomicons.
And I just want to give massive props right now to the warding of Virtus Pro. They had an Observer Ward on the hill just above the Radiant Secret Shop, and now they planted down a fresh one a little bit closer. It does block up that camp, so it may get discovered if there's any kind of stacking from EG, but it just scouted out the Shadow Blade attacking of DK. They're seeing EG's moves before they happen.
Yeah, that's pretty big, because that first Shadow Blade usage was really effective from Fear when he came up and they activated that Shrine together.
And he needs to keep chaining off effective movements with it too. Like, it's not just enough to have it once. It's like buying a Blink Dagger and saying, oh, okay, yeah, we got one kill.
Oh, Solo's off a little bit on his own. He's trying to get to his team, but he's going to be a bit too late.
Yeah, coming up, VP is trying to help, but he already got stomped down. That one Radiant Observer Ward that got planted. I don't know if that's actually pinged down by Virtus Pro, but
it's a shame for VP because they wanted to set up for a push. They had an Exorcism. They have this Yule Scepter with Song of Siren to back it up so they could just Exorcism on the tower. If they're challenged by EG, they go for the sleep.
Well, here comes the Exorcism. Song of the Siren, as you said, he is hiding inside the trees. Fear wants to move forward. There's no sentry wards down, so they won't see him close the distance. But battling underneath an entire creep wave and the Exorcism when you're by yourself is not something Fear really wants to have happen. So now Tinker starts his BTs in. They're looking for the Yule Scepter initiation. The Doom is on the Dragon Knight after he's already got the Dragon Form up. The Stomp Pasha is right between the two, so he can still get the Infernal Blade out, and Dragon Knight will fall. They are committing heavily to find these kills, and it feels like Fear is the punching bag.
That was a sick swerve there. Ramses backing off to dodge the stomp, and then Pasha just fast enough to be able to run ahead of it. The fact that the Death Prophet does not get hit by the stomp is what manages to get the kill on that DK. Without that Spirit Siphon, I don't think they get that kill.
At the same time, Beastmaster is getting more and more space. The level 2 Necrobook is up for Samel, so he isn't going to go for the Blink Dagger straight up. He was adding pressure to the tier 2 tower. VP has an answer to this as always, though. It's going to be that Tinker having the global presence.
It would have been great positioning there. VP walking through the tier 1 and tier 2 with their smoke, but the Naga Siren smoke pops, so EG actually know about this.
Yeah. Pasha also breaks the smoke of Evil Jesus, so yeah, this is attempted gank gone wrong. So they spirit out Song of the Siren to the front lines. ET's keeping his distance, and that Spirit, he's going to look for a good stomp timing right on top of Pasha, but the Storm Wall is right on point. Arteezy, he can't even sunder, doesn't have the time. Fiend Script is over on Pasha. He'll hope stomp up, but will still go down underneath this tier 1 tower. EG are fighting with the numbers, making it difficult for Virtus Pro to get the upper hand. Roger wants to, Misery wants to come back in, and there's the Nightmare. Chain it off, and then the wall. Contain Evil Geniuses on their side of the map, while VP attack from the north, east, and south. And goodbye, Glimpse.
Dragon Knight taking up, he can definitely live through this one, but maybe the Naga Siren quite low. The Necronomicon minion's not going to be able to catch up, though.
And then they even get perched up by the Prowlers.
Hey, he got CS for it. A Prowler died.
Yay.
It definitely wasn't the fight that Evil Geniuses envisioned, and a big part of that reason was Roger's Naga Siren and the way he played that. He saw Naga Sirens and he runs to the back line. In many ways, he's like a bounty hunter in that he's giving the vision and keeping the enemy team in the back where the Tinker can just go and missile over and over again.
Yep. To be honest, I thought with that kind of initiation, it would have been a lot better for them. Like, Arteezy has been a complete non-factor.
Yep.
In these fights. Like, he's always being controlled. They're committing multiple abilities to lock him down. It does give a little bit more freedom towards the DK. It puts a lot more work on the back of Crit, but Crit also did that wonderfully too. Like, having that long range and still being able to get the stun, the power of the Spirit. But this will start to change as Sumail gets bigger. Like, he just finished up his level 3 Necro book. When the Blink Dagger is there, then VP's backline can be assaulted. But they're coming for the top lane. They don't want to wait. Defensive Observer Ward being planted by Misery. They want to see VP coming.
Don't give up your offlane tower. It's too important to controlling your offlane jungle and that one ancient area, because Arteezy is having a hard enough time getting farm out of his safe lane jungle. It's just, as you could see, aggressive wards all over the place. The Tinker's always pushing it in as well, kind of threatening him.
Do you almost wish you went that Battle Fury build on the Terror Blade?
No, I don't think this is a Battle Fury game, because I'm not sure if he has enough space to really make use of it. He needs just to be able to come online as early as possible, and the earlier Manta allows him to split push a bit better, try and match that Tinker in the way he shoves out lanes without putting himself in danger.
EG quite willingly let that tier 1 tower go in mid. There wasn't much of a defense to be had, as the ET just tries to stall things up with his Spirit.
I mean, they didn't have to blow Exorcism for it, so VP are just going to keep going. See if they can force any reaction out of EG.
Oh, goodbye Vision. Oh, goodbye D-Vision as well. Virtus Pro establishing control of the cliffside, so Ramses now knows there's no one's going to be coming from behind him. No one's coming from the side either. The only way EG can come undetected is either through smoke or run directly at Virtus Pro. But they're also just making the most of it. Sumail's back up on top lane, pushing out. It's like they don't even care about these other towers. Yeah, they continue to drop. As long as they have the tier 1 tower up on the top lane, things seem to be a lot better.
The cool part of this is the way that they control the mid part of this map means that EG have to play on the sides of the map, but that is perfect for Doom pickoffs.
Yep. And you can see Doom already looking for Arteezy. Arteezy scouting out with the illusions. Still needs to finish up that Manta style. Sumail's getting some really good money.
Yeah.
While that mid push was going, he basically just grabbed about 1,500 worth of gold from the top. And the reason why that's just so critical is that Blink Dagger timing again. Speaking of which, Pasha just grabbed his. Sumail just got caught. Oh, that money is about to disappear for him. He doesn't have the blink to dodge. He starts his TP. Ramses has a Yule Scepter, and that's the easiest cancel of the TP they could have asked for. Sumail is toast.
And Doom was threatening at the same time bottom lane. Now, he should know
to back off.
It's not a good idea to stick around here, because EG are not just going to let a kill like that happen. They're going to try and hunt and get a kill of their own.
If they can get the Nightmare before he can blink, then you got a chance, and then just Fiend Strip. So, Blink Dagger is revealed on the Doombringer. It will not be effective for him, as Crit will find that kill.
Roger almost blew the song there to try and save the Doom. I'm glad he didn't, because we don't want a repeat of last game, where he blew a song and it was ineffective, and then Evil Geniuses took advantage of that cooldown.
See EG just think about doing Roshan? Is that what you're considering at this point?
I'm not sure if they actually have the power to do Roshan, but it's possible. More than likely, I think they would smoke up and just try and force any sort of team fight.
It feels like both teams have to commit huge abilities in order to get Roshan, like his Exorcism or Metamorphosis. Like it's like the only way you can actually bring him down at any kind of decent rate. I think both teams require these abilities for the team fight. This game at least staying, again, it feels like we're going back down the same kind of road. Just around that 20-minute mark, VP just starting to step it up a little bit, gain the advantage in golden experience. It's not much, and it's definitely not flowing their way, but it's about 4K on both golden experience.
Spirit Vessel was a great choice for Roger this game as the Naga Siren instead of the Meteor Hammer, primarily because of the Dragonite. You want to be able to just take out all of that regen that he has.
It's going to be very problematic for Fear at all stages of this game.
So, looking a little bit long-term, the way I see this game is that the Tinker is a relatively good counter to the Terrorblade, but I still feel like you can quite easily win those Terrorblade games because TB, especially with his Blink Dagger or the BKB, he's so good at just overwhelming team fights. And the thing about Tinker carries is that you pretty much can always win the game off of your own play, but at the same time, you get picked off once and it feels like the game is pretty much over.
Yeah.
And they definitely have the heroes for that pickoff. Beastmaster being one of the best heroes because he's both an initiator pickoff hero as well as a vision hero thanks to his Hawk.
Yeah. And that Hawk currently is just watching Roshan. I think that's been the primary focus of it the last couple of minutes. While the focus of the rest of EG has actually been bottom lane, Fear and Misery, looking for Tinker. They want him to aggressively push this out, and this is exactly the moment they were waiting for. Hoping he would blink into the trees, but no one's just faking it.
Yeah, no one. He's going to do this. He's going to try and fake some of these situations. Instead, what he should do is play behind his own team when they go for these pushes. Unnecessary when so many heroes are off map from the side of the Evil Geniuses to try and push yourself to get that far. Defend behind your tower if you want to. Don't really push yourself outside of that.
It's a shame for the rest of EG they don't have that perfect initiating hero there because Sumail's too busy doing top.
No one close to extending out a little bit too far.
They're wrapping around the back of Sumail. They've had enough. The blink, the Hoof Stomp, and the blink into Spirit Siphon. Sumail will get the roar off and the Necrobook, so at least he can cause some damage into Pasha. But there were no friends coming to help out Sumail.
They don't pop the Exorcism for it, but they could still take that tier 1 tower.
Oh, it's so low. 164. It's only been the spamming of axes from Sumail that slowed this down. But a double damage rune in front of Roshan. This may actually be the enabler the VP were looking for. Burn the Exorcism, and now they go for Roshan. No easy vision for EG through the Hawk.
Play that top half of the map. They know Evil Genius is playing the right side. They're trying to catch no one all the time. They're going to go for a push of their own, but I am much happier if I'm VP grabbing an Aegis.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, their team isn't the greatest at picking up because Tinker is not incredible.
Death Prophet. He jumped in a long, long way, but here comes the stomp. They all just want to TP out. EG do not want this fight. And Misery crit, will they be successful? The Yule Scepter cancels crits. So he may as well just throw out everything he's got and just prepare for death. The tier 1 tower is still alive. That one range creep is trying to bring it down, but it's a 21 HP.
So close.
Yet so far away.
Pasha almost got the worst stomp in on the Bane as well. So they were very close to being able to catch 2 supports. So it was a really cool idea with the Death Prophet, just with the Blink Dagger, being the initiator off of the Aegis. I mean, they're not going to turn and fight you, not with the Aegis, not with an Aegis on you.
Solo's getting Beastmastered right now. Yeah. Dark Troll Summoner, there's so much support behind him. Just more harassment than anything else. But EG, high ground defense is still strong. BKB up. So Fear can stand his ground in the fight. And it looks like Virtus Pro, even though they have that extra life on the Death Prophet, they're not using it yet. Exorcism in 48 seconds, then you will see it.
So an early Scythe pickup for our Tinker.
Well, he actually went directly into, well, he's going directly into Hex.
Yeah, that's what he's holding on to.
I was saying, like the way you worded it, like, oh wow, he's actually got Scythe 26 minutes in.
No.
That's pretty sick.
Thankfully for Evil Geniuses, that is not the case. They are 7K up right now on Virtus Pro. And they are in a good point where they can just kind of control the map. I don't know about high ground pushing and how that's going to feel for them. Evil Geniuses don't have some of their very key items, like the BKB on that Terrorblade. He needs that so badly because the silences, Static Storm, as well as the Death Prophet, are a big problem for him in getting off Sunder.
I think Solo is still hunting. Putting down some aggressive Observer Wards. This is just made to watch the DK move towards the top, but now Sumail, Raw, right on top of Roger. He has enough mana to potentially song if he gets in trouble, but a quick blink away, and Sumail starts to TP. The Necrobooks may just do the rest of the work. Ramses barely misses the Yule Scepter, and Roger will end up surviving.
And those are kind of big wins because you see what Evil Genius is doing here. They're just like immediately pushing out bottom lane. Arteez is like, sweet, I'm kind of free to farm this whole entire jungle area because they've shown their cards. They've shown they're all in top lane right now.
I like the denial of the extra money. So the melee Necro unit was denied by the range one after Pasha jumped in and Infernal Bladed it.
Sumail did that game too, actually, as well. He's been very careful at not feeding away those Necronomicons.
Worth good money.
Yeah.
One of the Necros just sitting in the side, just waiting to try and do something, but either that or timeout, which he'll do in 1 second time. Oh, okay, not that great. He ended up feeding that one. But Arteezy's getting more and more space. That BKB, 3,400 gold in the bank, that's going to be enough for him.
He is getting more and more space, but it actually feels like Sumail is slowing down quite a bit. Remember, he got that Blink Dagger so quickly, and now he's very slowly working towards BKB.
Well, he's changed shops, right? Like, he's gone from, you know what, I need to keep that top lane pushed in all the time to, I actually need to be involved in some kind of gank. I'm not the one who has farm priority. This is still going to be the late game Terrorblade, because can VP actually battle a fully fledged Terrorblade in the late game? Glimpse, Sumail's in trouble. In fact, Sumail, Misery, wants to help him. A quick Nightmare will buy some time. The Necro Books at least got off, allowing the Dragon Tail stun and the Phoenix Grip. No! Roger! He'll get the Song of the Siren off. 3 caught out. Crib wants to help out with an Echo Stomp, but can it actually do enough? The laser's bouncing through the wall underneath the tower. Arteezy sunders onto Ramses. He has enough life to stand his ground. That BKB timing is huge. Ramses caught on the wrong side of the tracks. Sumail is there to help get the kill. Remember, they'll have to do it again. The Aegis the Immortal will give him a second life. Crit comes in for the stomp. Pasha, he's jumped in for his own stomp. The Roar is on Death Prophet. They have to hold her in position as the spill damage goes out, killing Ramses, lowering Pasha, but no one jumps inside the base.
No, it's a
triple kill for him. He'll go for more. Rearm and pop won't happen, but 3 heroes, yeah, well, Fear's gonna fall. An ultra kill for the Tinker No One.
No one's got some balls, man. He just blinked right in there and said, you got nothing left in the tank. I'm going to get this bouncing laser. If you got no abilities, you can't right-click. What are you possibly going to do? I thought that fight was going to be a disaster for VP as soon as Pasha made a judgment. He said, I'm going to doom the Dragonite instead of the Terrorblade. And as a result, he gets off BKB Metamorphosis. He managed to get the Sunder off, which kills the Death Prophet, ending the Exorcism. I thought that was actually just going to end in total disaster, all because of one misplay. Fortunately, no one definitely recovered it.
And then Tinker.
Yeah.
And then his scythe. He's got 6.8k gold after that engagement. The money just started flowing in for him.
And remember, that was a buyback from Sumail just to try and win that fight, which they still did not.
That's almost the hilarious thing when Sumail was worth 322 gold for that buyback death. That's not the fun side. Just the ultimate memes come to reality. So Scythe is now fully done.
Well, he's not going to have BKB anytime soon on the Beastmaster, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm wondering if BKB is still going to be the best item of choice for him. Because it feels like right now, EG need better pickoff.
I think he...
What do you actually, what would you get instead of that?
There's not a whole lot. Honestly, they really could use a Linken's against this Doom, but I'm just not sure who's really going to be able to get it for the team.
Yeah, DK's not. Obviously, Fear's going to go in for a heart for his lineup.
And the big problem is that the Terrorblade is not going to reach that really big peak off of the Reflection level 20 talent. Because if you look at the team from VP, they have Tinker, Death Prophet, Doom. Like, none of those heroes really fear their own illusions. So it's not going to be all that effective. It's just going to be all in the Terrorblade and his right-click damage.
Do you actually then just push the Terrorblade into the stats for his 20 talent?
I would not go that far. Reflection is still a really good ability. I mean, it slows, it gives you some damage. It's insane. I'm not going to go that far. No.
Okay. Top lane pressure is coming in from EG. The rest of Virtus Pro, however, on a 4-man smoke gank in the bottom river. Tinker will hold the top lane at bay. It's a double catapult wave with a Centaur, so this should be an easy tier 2 tower. They'll fortify it up. As long as the catapults keep attacking and that Centaur stands in the front lines, this tier 2 tower is gone. And Sumail even gets the last hit with the Centaur, and EG have backed out. They didn't want to stick around for this. They just wanted to get just a little bit more money, a little bit more out of buildings down.
And this is what Evil Geniuses wanted from this game all along. They wanted these pushes where they don't have to commit anything, where the Beastmaster is just throwing all of his minions down a lane and able to take a tower as a result, where the Terrorblade is pushing out lanes, not with his hero, but with his illusion a lot of the time. So this 4-man of VP can't really ever latch their claws and catch EG heroes. Unfortunately for them, though, VP has routinely caught these heroes mostly off of like aggressive blinks from the Death Prophet. Those have been massive.
Yeah. It's the VP confidence. Like, you're one game away from elimination inside of a major, and you're like, yeah, I'm still okay with this. I'm still going to jump in. The Shadow Blade is out from Fear. They're looking for a target. What they're going to find is probably every single player of Virtus Pro. They don't have any vision. They've just walked up to the Dire jungle looking for someone. Now Death Prophet reveals Tinker as well. But everyone from VP is sitting behind. You got 3 Spirit Vessels ready to throw out from Naga and the Song of the Siren. So even if EG do this, they know they need to just pop someone instantly. That's the only way they win this fight. Someone has to walk into their trap.
And VP might just, though the way they saw the illusions come down and interrupt in mid, I would
No one's
feel,
defending top. There's your jump. No,
nice
the blink
bait.
away! He gets out. The Necro books were popped as well. This is not the fight that EG need.
Roger completely baited that, I think. I think he absolutely knew when he approached that there was a large chance that they were going to try and jump him, and he was just a little bit faster.
Yep. And now VP, if they want to, they can just go straight down the mid. Like, Roshan's not alive yet. He'll respawn up in 1 minute and 20 seconds. That's going to take some time. And yep, EG are already starting their TPs back home.
And that just will probably lead to Roshan, which is what EG was hoping to be able to contest with that placement. They get a smoke engagement, they get some sort of pick-off or team fight, they use Dragon Form, they control the map, and maybe Roshan spawns for them. As it is, with Dragon Form on cooldown, and Roshan coming up in the next minute.
Yep. The Beastmaster will still try and keep vision. That's why they're walling to try and find that Hawk.
Yeah.
Can't hide in invis now.
If you spend your time as Vine, Smoke, on top of a high ground, it just means you've lost all map control. You see top lane and bottom lane all really aggressively pushing in. Yep. So EG need to simultaneously push those out, don't get caught, and set themselves up for some sort of smoke into the team fight contesting Roshan.
Well, they need to get out there. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But the Observer Ward and Sentry, they'll know it's down. VP have done this ward so consistently already. They've dewarded it once previously. And there's the jump onto the Hawk. Cannot get that vision. Such a long cooldown as well.
They should at least know that there is vision on that high ground because the Hawk keeps getting picked off there.
Yep. But now they don't have the Hawk for when Roshan spawns.
That being said, again, VP's heroes are not the greatest with Aegis.
Yeah, they
like
need to burn
Death
Exorcism.
Prophet, you blow Exorcism, you just die.
Like Ramthy's right now, he's doing the dolphin. Wondering if he actually just lets the spirits loose. No one will come in to help, and now he'll actually commit properly. So, Song of the Siren is still up, and EG, I don't even know how you stop this, even if you want to.
I don't think you do. I think
look how fast he's dying. They can't even get there in time. Like, the Beastmaster army is coming. ET, well, he can stomp inside of the pit and may even kill off Roshan. No, it won't happen. Okay, yeah, no one's getting the Aegis Immortal. Rams just walks away. He's got the cheese. And he's going to be a little bit sad that the Arcane Rune spawns only now. Would have lowered the time for Exorcism so the push could come even faster.
Again, it's like that the team fight would be so difficult to take. And the payoff is, like, for yourselves, getting the Aegis is okay, but it's not that big of an objective for VP either.
If you had like a big team fight turnaround here, like the Luna, like that would have been another thing.
Or they have like a Storm Spirit or something, like a hero that's really good with it, then you absolutely must contest. Here, I don't think it was as big of a deal.
Yeah. It's always that thing, right, with a Terrorblade. He has to stand his ground against the enemy lineup.
Yeah.
And then still get Sunder off. Like, these are the two things that you must be able to do. And right now, he's not strong enough to do either of these things against the lineup. So DK needs to find the opening. That's what Fear is hunting for once again. They don't walk under any dire vision. In fact, the dire vision is quite heavily focused towards the north, so they'll find Solo, and they just instantly reflect him. Roger turns on the Song of the Siren. More support has to come over. They're already burning the Shrine, and maybe Solo, no, they'll just run away. The extra TPs were not coming aggressively from Virtus Pro, and EG are forced to come back. There's a double catapult wave pushing their tier 3 tower up on top.
Oh, yeah.
Samael has to defend this.
That's some good damage right there.
Yep.
That was like 1,000 damage for a failed gank on a Disruptor.
And they may even just bring down the tower anyway. The Axes are doing what they can, but thanks to Tinker's march, Catapult's got the cover. And that tower's at 50 HP. Tinker now has a little bit of, hang on, what was that? I saw BKB. So Arteezy has his, Fear has his, Crit has his. Am I imagining things, or was no one actually buying a BKB then selling a BKB?
Yeah, I was thinking about BKB as his next item with this Aegis.
He's at 5.9k, so the decision time is there. What items does he replace his Aegis?
Because you're a little bit, at this point in time, I think you're reaching kind of a peak for VP. They're at such a huge net worth lead, and their heroes are incredibly strong at this point. Death Prophet is kind of peaked out. Tinker has kind of all the items you need to be a terrifying core. So I think you want to make sure that when you do go for this high ground push, it is absolutely successful, and you want to just be able to brute force it.
Oh boy, an Aghanim Scepter on the Disruptor. Dispels so many issues for EG.
Oh yeah, they get
now these BKBs don't protect you. Terrorblade has a Lincoln Sphere, fantastic, but if you get trapped inside that Storm Wall, you're dead.
They're gonna Song, blink in, grab a bunch of heroes, and then whoever's stuck in the Static Storm is dead.
Yep. It's actually kind of hilarious, because you always talk about with the Doombringer, like you doom one target, and then this guy is dead. So whoever's not caught inside the Wall Storm, Solo, like Pasha, just jumps in, blink dooms him. So then you practically delete at least 2 heroes at the start of a fight for Virtus Pro.
I don't know, with these combinations, I'm just not sure how they're going to be able to do. Okay, the Blink Dagger could really help out because you might just be able to blink out of the Song before Static Storm touch you. Yep.
They got Blink on Terra, Blink on DK.
The timing of your BKBs are also critically important for EG.
Lincoln's is already cracked on the Death Prophet. Fear jumps in with the Fiend's Grip. They want to kill him off. Can they actually bring down this Death Prophet with the EG Splitter? It won't happen. Defensive Fuel Scepter up and the Song of the Siren. Actually cancelling off a lot of the damage of the Exorcism. Now allowing Fear to try and turn and fight. She's already been triggered. Terrorblade needs to swap his life. He's still silenced. Where is that Sunder? It doesn't come. Arteezy is down for a full minute without buyback, and EG on the retreat. Back to their tier 4 towers, but they want to go deeper. Ramses, aggressive, blinking forward. Samael dropping down low. The ET once again just cannot stop enough. The VP are on a rampage, almost under the fountain, hunting these kills of evil geniuses. And the Storm is down again with the laser. They can't attack. They can't fight back. All they can do is die, evil geniuses. There's just buybacks galore. Crit can do some work right now. At least the Doom as well. As the Disruptor have dropped, the Rax is still intact. VP went so deep, but they forced 3 buybacks out of evil geniuses.
Oh man, I just watching Crit there, and he gets like a 4-man stomp. He has the Spirit on everybody, and then he just pops his BKB and just wails into that Tinker. The big thing was, though, that Tinker got off the laser just before he died. That was so important because he managed to get the kill on the Dragonite. This forced a couple buybacks as well. Even if they don't get the lane of Rax, forcing the buybacks is good enough, right? Because it still leaves you in the same situation. One push, one team fight. We win that.
Economically, you can see they're crippled. Like down to 24k, 23k, the difference. 22k in the experience. That just swing goes the way of Virtus Pro. So this game is firmly in their control. It's up to EG to change the tempo. It's up to EG to maybe next time, I don't know how you do it. Is there a way to just dispel that silence on the Terrorblade and just let him do his work? It just seems this 6-second duration silence from Death Prophet is his worst enemy, because that's what stopped him. It wasn't even the Disruptor Storm.
They have to stop the Song, because the Song stops the Terrorblade illusions. It stops the Necronomicon minions from Beastmaster as well. It stops Beastmaster because he still doesn't have that BKB. So when you pop that Song and go for the Death Prophet, a Song goes off and you only have the DK and the Terrorblade himself. No illusions. Right-clicking on a Death Prophet. It's just not enough damage.
Here comes EG. That's worth a jump if they can get the Disruptor. He's in the back lines at the moment. Naga Siren does have that Song of the Siren. They'll smoke up themselves. And where do they run? Death Prophet, Illusion Rune only. EG use a secondary smoke. They don't see anyone right now. The bottom lane is still forcing in. So is the mid lane. The Naga Illusions were pushing that one out. Tinker just TP back to the base. They need a jump. Solo is close. That smoke, which one's going to break first? EG, now the smoke will break. They jump in deep. And Arteezy, straight up BKB. The Song of the Siren and actually isolated Solo so they can keep fighting. Ramsey's next target inside the base, but with the BKBs wearing off, where do you go next? The lasers from Tinker, this will cause problems. The Doombringer stands his ground against Crit. Arteezy still wants something to fight, but he keeps getting lasered. Silenced up again, no more Sunder, no more Artur, and they'll go for even more with the DK down. He was doomed up, nothing can be done. Too many heroes for EG are on the sideline, and this just may be the game. This may be Virtus Pro's victory and ticket into the semi-final, as down goes all of EG, and GG indeed. Virtus Pro have done it 2-1 against Evil Geniuses.
They finally get that monkey off their back. They finally beat Evil Geniuses.
It only took 4 years.
I thought they were going to do it again, Ting. Instead, they do it here. Katowice. Honestly, a fantastic performance from Virtus Pro. I thought there were so many cool plays they did in this series. The way they just absolutely demolished in game number 1. The way they controlled this game 3 and made it so as every 5 minutes went by, I felt like EG just had 10% less a chance to be able to acquire victory. They just made sure that everyone from EG was shut out when it came to farm. They kept on getting those really critical smoke rotations, those critical blink forward and catches. VP, I think, played fantastically all the way through there. Got to give a shout out to No One's Tinker, though, because that was a baller performance. He didn't feel a whole lot of pressure, but he definitely maximized his performance as a result.
Yeah, that jump inside the base, you could see VP, they knew it. When you play a game like this, you play on a stage like this one in Katowice, and you're willing to not only just jump with your Tink, you're jumping with your Death Prophet, you're jumping with everyone you possibly can. 4